Hello, hello. It's me, CZ, the undead dude. Look, and over there, it's the guest that isn't a guest because they're a co-host, I guess.
Hi. I'm a co-host, apparently. And I'm not a guest, but I'm also a guest. That's how I was introduced. So, here I am.
And obviously, we actually have to get into who today's guest is.
Do we have to?
I mean, no, you know, we could just talk for a bit if you want.
Yeah. We don't need to talk about them.
They're just sitting quietly in the call listening to us.
Yeah.
So how's your week?
My week's been okay. I mean, a little stressful, deadline's coming up.
Ah, yeah.
This fire's really noisy.
Yeah.
Don't you just hate it when it's like that?
I really do.
I can't even drop and roll.
At least it's warm.
That's true.
So today's guest is a professional when it comes to most things game dev related. You name it. They're a shoutcaster, game designer, producer, professor, author, journalist, TV show writer, professional gamer, king main, streamer, advisor, and a great friend. But that's not all they are. They're a very supportive and trustworthy person that has helped us through a lot of our tough game dev related times. They're also a silly chrono-shifting, time-traveling old man player, made 70% of video games, a D&D aficionado, and one of the most active people anyone could have on an online community. I know them as Inti. You know them as Inti. Take your hands off the keyboard that you probably need to clean sometime soon. It's a little gross. Get it up for Intilink!
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for the very well-researched intro.
Hey, I know a lot about you now.
I can tell.
Now.
Now.
I didn't know a lot before. Now I know you a little too well.
Well, I still don't even know what your job title is directly, but all I know is you're a really widespread, cool, cast of the net guy. You
I
know?
remember what your job title I think was, but it's changed since then, so I don't know anymore.
God. Yeah, I don't even know what my current title is. I wouldn't be able to tell you half of what I do right now.
I like the idea that you're like, I have a job. I don't really know what it is, but it exists. And I'm doing it, I think.
In a way, manner of speaking, yes. It's complicated.
So you're a shoutcaster, a game designer, a producer, a professor, author, journalist, TV show writer. But
I don't know where you.
Why are you a king main?
Oh, that's because I eat a lot of glue.
What?
It's a lot of glue.
Well, honestly, just because I think wrestling is really freaking cool. That's the big reason.
So you don't
why,
eat glue?
Sometimes.
Why is it? Yeah, I was the hesitation there. The answer is, it's a yes or no answer. And I feel like the hesitation is already giving us the answer.
Well, as a grappler main, it is my job to eat glue at all times. That is just how it works.
You said you didn't know the title of your job.
Oh, no, that's not a title of my job. That's just what I do
Glue
casually.
eater. Oh, okay, that's what you do in your spare time.
Side hustle.
Yeah, your off hours. My off hours, I eat glue.
My off hours.
No, grapple.
I go with a shot of vodka. It makes the tangent taste much better.
Sounds awful.
It's a crime.
So when is that glue taste testing tier list happening? Indeed, when are we getting that?
Yeah.
Oh god. The worst part is I
saying.
could give you at least 2 tiers.
Yeah, you got Elma and then the glue stick.
Yeah, pretty much. As much as I meme about it, I've never actually eaten glue. I didn't even know that was a thing until I was 14 and I was watching I think it was a rerun of the Powerpuff Girls, and they were like, "Oh, this is a kid that eats glue." It's like,
but then you've got
glue?
Okay, but you've got glue eaters, and then you've got glue sniffers, because then there's
God.
and then you have marker sniffers, which is a different thing. So I
yeah.
didn't know about any of this stuff either. I was like, people do this, and I'm not one of them. That's the stranger part.
The problem is that they had like sniffable markers directed towards children.
That's
So
a
it's
good
like
point.
those flavored markers, and you smell it, and you're like, oh no, wait, this is just a permanent marker.
No,
Oh, no.
some of them did smell.
Pass out.
I think, but like once they like put out the like sniffable markers, you know, or the ones with like flavors, it kind of encouraged you to sniff every marker now that you found, just in case it smelled like grape.
See, I was
mean,
more of a. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
No. It's like you're right. I didn't start smelling markers until like they go those like aromatic ones, and I was like, what if this one smells good?
You're curious, exactly.
Petrol.
What were you saying, Cici?
I was gonna say, I'm more of a scratch and sniff sticker kind of guy.
Yeah, but I
Like-
couldn't
Oh,
find those
God.
easily. I remember like really liking them in like junior school when I was first introduced to them, but then I couldn't find them and I got really sad. So I got excited whenever they'd come up. Like I'd get it on my like work or something. You know, they'd put like a sticker on your paper, and I'd be like, yes, another scratch and sniff one, and just save it, and scratch it and sniff it. It makes me sound really
See,
weird.
yeah.
I have. I'm trying to think. Did I ever see one of those scratches? Stuff?
Really?
I
You
don't.
didn't?
I don't think so.
Someone needs to
We-
get
we had
this
a
man
kid.
a packet of scratch and sniff stickers.
I know what I'm sending to you.
Need a
Pack of Tim Tams, scratch and sniff
No, no,
stickers.
no, no, no.
That's it.
No. We have an audience right now. We can do a GoFundMe situation to get into these scratch and sniffs.
Don't.
That's right. You suck right now.
For only $2.99 a month, you can give this man a scratch and sniff sticker.
See, we had someone who grabbed the same like scratch and sniff Snickers, like not the chocolate bar, stickers that the teacher had, and bought them and just put them on people's work while they were like walking around the classroom.
Oh my gosh, that would have been great. I love that person.
Brilliant.
He was our dealer.
I mean, like,
Our
I wish
dealer.
there was a dealer. The teacher always kept all the goods, like, locked up in, like, the bottom drawer. I was so bummed about that. It was always the best when you had a teacher that didn't just have, like, a couple things in the bottom drawer, but I had, I had a teacher every now and then who would have, like, a box that was just, like, rewards for, like, kids or whatever. It was, like, the treasure trove, and whenever you, like, they pulled them out, you were like, I want, like, that one in the bottom left. But you couldn't say anything, you just had to, like, fingers crossed that's what you were gonna get.
Yeah, it was literally like, oh my god, it's a gacha. It
Pretty
was a freaking
much.
gacha.
It was gacha for kids. There's a lot of things directed towards kids that you, like, question the, like, I guess, like, question what kids are gonna learn, or whether this is really, like, morally right. Like, encouraging kids to sniff permanent markers, and
Yeah, not a good plan.
encouraging them to, like, sniff stickers, and sniff glue, and straight up just, like, do gacha, and essentially there's a couple gambling things that they do in, like, junior school as well, that I'm like, these are bad values that we're kind of
Yeah.
instilling.
Whereas our music teacher had very good values, where
Aw.
she would yeet a beanbag at people
Dude, that would have been the best.
if they were talking in class.
I
It
would
was-
have loved that.
And then, and then, like, sure, you'd get a minty if you did like a good job, sure. But she had a water gun as well,
Oh, dude.
and I'll never forget her name because of this. Because she was nice once you knew her, but if you didn't know her and you were on her bad side, you got the beanbag to the face, you got the water gun squirt in class, you were screwed.
Dude, that would have been great. That would have been great. I mean, I feel like you're still risking, like, that teacher, like, one day she's gonna, like, break a child's wrist with that beanbag. But, like, and then she's probably gonna get, like, some permanent records in her teaching career. But, like, until
Look,
that
she was
point,
already like 55. How hard can she throw?
she can throw a
I think
beanbag across the room at a
very,
child,
yeah.
so... That woman's
I
got
think
strong
when you reach
wrists.
that age. Yeah, I think when you reach at that age, you just don't care anymore.
She's
You
like,
just go all in, right?
yeah, she's like, dude, I already have brittle bones. Like, if something's not hurting, that's when you start to get concerned. Like, she probably sprains her wrist like every other day.
That's true. Probably.
Oh god. We had a teacher that was like that. Like she wouldn't throw shit at you, but she was the Gordon Ramsay of teaching. That's the best way I could put it. Like,
No, like swears, or she cooked you very good food.
yeah, no, like yes. The thing is that if you were like a troublemaker, you didn't do your homework or whatever, she would be like, "You fucking donkey! You useless moron! You're not doing
my
your..." And she would
gosh.
just scream at like a freaking high pitch. And then like, if you're like me, who like was kind of a troublemaker, but actually actively tried to fucking learn something, and I was like, "Hey, like, can you explain this to me?" She's like, "Oh, honey, come over here. Let me show you how."
Aw.
But it's so funny because like people would joke that she was bipolar because of that.
Oh man.
But people were legitimately afraid of that teacher, and that was like our last year.
I actually
of
think
high
I
school,
had a
believe.
teacher like that, but I think that I can't remember if he got fired or not because somebody used it. Yeah, so I actually had a teacher like that, kind of like that, similar. Who I can't remember if he got fired because I actually think there was some controversial stuff happening like later on. But yeah, he was like also where he would like aggressively yell at you and you were genuinely afraid, but every now and then he would have his like favorite students that he was like really nice to and he'd like joke around with, but as soon as you pissed him off, he would like yell at you and he would like, depending on what you were doing, he would like, yeah, he would straight up like grab your stuff and like throw it across the class.
Dang.
Yeah, no, he was a scary science teacher. Like, as soon as he saw you doing something, yeah, he was a science teacher.
Wait, no, my teacher was also a science teacher.
He wasn't-
There's something about science teachers.
Was not in lab, so it wasn't like he was throwing, like, beakers of, like, chemicals across the room. It was, like, you know, it was all theory stuff. I think he also told math as well.
Dissect this frog! Ha!
But,
Think fast, juggle fuck.
yeah. I think he yelled at me twice. Once for drawing in class, and the other one for... He tried to yell at me. He tried to yell at me for leaving. Because I was going on a family holiday, and I was gonna be like, yeah, I have to go. And he was like, why? Why do you have to go? And I was like, I'm getting picked up to go on a holiday. He's like, oh, you're just gonna go to a holiday. Where are you going? And I was like, to Japan. Or something like it was like, I can't remember where it was to, but yeah, he was like, so you're just gonna go out of here and like fly to this other place? And I was like, yes. And he was like, well, look, like, lucky you, not all of us get to do that, or something like that. And I was like, okay, can I go now?
What an asshole.
He was just angry about his wages. Come on.
I mean, he kind of like, he went from like trying to yell at me to like trying to like switch it around and joke around, and I was like, I don't understand if you're mad, but I need to go. Like, I'm slowly trying to like kind of scoot my way closer to the door with my stuff to get out of this conversation with this teacher. I just don't want to be yelled at. It's really scary.
And then my scariest teacher, right, was passive aggressive, right?
Oh, no.
So like, you do something wrong, he looks at you. He doesn't like get angry or anything. There's no throwing of stuff, but he sits there scratching his chin, going, "Mm-hmm," and that hurt the most. You knew what was going on. It's like, "Mm-hmm, mm-hmm."
Oh, I do not like those teachers, like, at all. They're really annoying. They're really...
Would you rather have a beanbag thrown at you?
I think the beanbag's direct, like it
I would
specifically
much
tells
rather
you,
have a
right? beanbag.
beanbag thrown at me, to be honest. Like, that sounds fun. I don't know if I would have enjoyed it at the time, like, of being in school, but as an adult, I would enjoy it. Could somebody just throw a beanbag at me, is what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to get at. I would like a beanbag thrown at my face.
God.
Alright. You know what? We're adding that to the scratch and sniff Snickers.
Snickers?
Snickers every time.
Go find me.
Like Snickers, don't you?
Snicker. Look, I'm hungry.
No. What we're gonna do is we have the scratch and sniff GoFundMe page, and one of the push goals after the scratch and sniff is pay enough money to see me get hit by a beanbag.
Yeah. And then stretch goal, buy CZ a Snickers.
Stretch goal, yeah.
There
Bye.
you go. I mean, a beanbag is better than being pushed down a fucking hill. I'll tell you that much.
Probably.
That's
Or
true.
oh, what is it? There's a specific word for like when someone throws a sandal at you, you know? Chunkler?
Oh.
Yeah, the chunkler.
Chunkler.
The chunkler.
Oh no.
Most threatening element ever created. Nobody's safe.
I just like the idea of like the meme of somebody like who's like casually walking by, going about their day, and then having someone. It's like the classic Mean Girls, like Regina George scene, where like she goes to like walk across the street and then she just gets hit by like a bus. That's what I want with a beanbag, like casually going about your life and then oof. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. Fingers crossed. That's what Santa will bring me for Christmas this year.
Pain.
Beanbag to the
that's a good
face.
question. Any of you three responsible for a teacher quitting their job, or at least witnessed one having enough and leaving?
Oh.
I made a teacher quit. Yeah.
I don't know if a
Yeah.
teacher quit, but my mom at school threatened to sue the school several times. At least 2 times.
Oh my
2 or 3 times. And what was it? I don't know. It's like I think one teacher, I don't know if I got them, I don't think I directly got them fired or anything, but I think one of them did end up leaving eventually, but I feel like it was like due to numerous complaints, not just like one. So,
Wait,
That
but
makes sense.
how did you get someone kicked out?
how did you make someone quit?
Yeah.
That's the question. Because it wasn't just them getting fired. It was that they quit. Like, voluntarily.
They had to quit. So here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
It was during I think 2nd or 3rd grade of secondary high school, which is like, I think it's like 8th grade for like
Oh,
Americans.
thank God. I thought you were gonna say as like a 6-year-old you were getting teachers kicked out.
No, it was like a. I don't know. I think it was. When did my dad? I think it was like. I think I was 15. I think it was when I was 15, 14 or 15, whatever. The
Mhm.
point is, we had a little trip, a school trip. We went to one of the provinces in our country to do some field, activities and shit.
Uh-huh.
And we went to this ruin because we have a lot of them back home. And in this ruin area, there is like a hill. Like we have a word for it in Spanish, but I never found the equivalent in English. But it's like a small hill, but it was a rocky, dusty hill. Like the one you imagine when I say it was a ruin, like old place. And it was a little bit steep, so you had to not exactly climb, but it was a tough way to go up. You actually have to like do some work. And the cool thing about this hill is that once you go to the top of it, you could get a really good picture of the whole ruin area.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of like kids were going up there, and by a lot I mean like 5, 6, which were like the sporty kids that like to do that kind of stuff and climb and stuff. And then I wanted to go there, and my friend was like, "Hey, I'm too scared to go up there. Can you take my camera and take a picture for me?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I did
Awesome.
it, and I went all the way to the top, and it was like the 7 of us and the teacher that was at the top of the hill. And once these finally told us that we had to go down, each of the sporty guys either like run all the way down, like sprinted down, which made it like look really cool, or like had really good equilibrium to go down. I had 2 cameras on me, and like I think a bottle of water, so it was like a liter of water, so it wasn't really comfortable to do that. And I wasn't exactly like the most sport kind of person, so I was trying to take it slowly. And the teacher who was like guiding us down, so to speak, like he was staying at the top and he was letting us go one by one. He was like, "Oh, come on, Inti, go down fast." And he grabbed my wrist and pushed and pulled me towards like the way down. And I literally ran the way down for like 2 seconds, and then I just flipped over and just ate shit. I just went down the whole freaking hill, and I got bruises all over myself and shit. And the teacher came down like sliding from the hill, like, "Hey, what happened?" I just got up and just fucking kneed him in the nuts because I was so pissed off.
Yeah.
And
Did
when
you
I
die?
was- No, but I lived. then when we got back from the trip, I obviously like told my mom like, "Hey, hi mom." She was like, "Why are you covered in bruises?" I was like, "Oh, this happened." She was like, "You're not, dude. That's bullshit." So she went to the school to complain about it, and the teacher tried to like weasel his way out by trying to bring up my grades and whatever.
What would that have anything to do with the
Exactly.
situation?
Bruh.
Because it's like, it's because your son is a truant. Look at his grades. He's not doing well. He doesn't give a shit. It's
I
like,
pushed him down a hill because he's bad at math.
Yeah, I was like, what does that have to do with the actual events that played out?
yeah, so it was like bullshit. And so like a complaint was lodged. And the thing about it that neither like the what should we call it, the teacher didn't know was that I was actually friends with the director, the dean, whatever the hell you're called, the school.
Oh,
He
yeah.
knew me because I was a notorious trouble student, but he... Back then we didn't really know or think too much about it, but you know, students have issues. Kids have issues. They have ADHD and they have OCD. So they manifest in different ways, and that dean was one of the few that understood that I was, in a way, I had special needs as a student. Like, so he got really close to me, and he's the one who helped me a lot to like mellow out sometimes and just figure out what I wanted to do. So apparently, what happened reached him, and they started checking out what the hell was going on with the teacher. Well, like, why would he do that? And during this entire investigation, it turns out that he was you know how he's an adult and we're kids and
Oh,
they're
no.
female students.
Oh
So he basically had to fucking either quit or get fired. Then he just quit.
Yeah, even then, I feel like I'm like, dude, based on that investigation, he would have had a lot of stuff like on his personal record. He would probably be
Oh, yeah,
very pissed
definitely.
at you because
Oh,
you're
yeah.
the reason they had to do like they did an investigation in the first place.
Yeah, I've never heard back in from him ever. He just disappeared like by the next month, so we don't know what happened.
See, I was gonna be like, yeah, I got a student teacher kicked out of like the program that they were in because I was the only one doing work in my class, and then my friend was like, hey, you need to stop like only making him clean up after like chemistry things and stuff like that. And then my friend got into a yelling match with him, and then the student teacher called him a C word right to his face in the middle of class. and then we complained and never saw him again.
I've never directly been responsible for like a teacher like losing their job. Like never directly. Rookie.
Don't.
I just didn't draw attention to myself when I was in school. I tried to keep out of trouble and hide in the shadows. So
To be honest, that's the best approach.
yeah, honestly, that's what got me through. That's what got me through high school. Was like being invisible. But yeah, no.
See, I wasn't
I complain to my
allowed to
parents.
be invisible.
Um,
I wasn't allowed to be invisible
Damn.
because you see,
Mr.
every time I walk through the school, imagine I'm in year 10, right? The year 12s knew who I was because of my sister. And we had to do a bunch of stuff with year 8s. So literally, it was year 12s, year 8s all knew who I was in year 10. And I was like, awesome. I can't just walk through the school without people going, hi, Barry. And it's like, oh, awesome. Fun. Cool. Amazing. Hi.
Oh.
Hi. And then I'm also a little bit extroverted. A little bit.
just a smidge.
Just a
Just
little bit.
just a
Just a
little.
little bit.
Just a tad.
Yeah.
tiny bit.
I mean, everybody in my school year knew who I was. I can tell you that much, because I was like that weird middle fence of like the people, like a lot of the people who were like super outgoing and like quotation marks popular and knew everybody. A good amount of them knew me from like our previous years, because our school basically is like from primary to secondary. Like you have your whole.
Yeah.
Usually the students you start studying with will go all the way with you. It's not like there's different high schools like in
Oh,
like,
I went
like
to
here in the US or
that.
anything like that.
Yeah. Well, I went to a private
Uh,
school, so
yeah,
I had a
because
similar
he's
experience
handsome.
to that, where I went from pretty much the earliest stage of like kindergarten, whatever, all the way to like year 12. Same place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So So the people who were more outgoing, they knew me from before, and the people who didn't really hang out with anybody or were like transfers or whatever, they also knew me because I usually didn't hang with anybody else. So that we would just, you know, eventually there's so many places you can avoid people at in the playground, right? Or the yard, whatever. So I was in that weird middle position where like I didn't hang out with either group, but they all knew me. So like if anything, I was like, oh hey, there goes Inti. Oh hey, hi, how's it going? He's like, hi, I don't know you, but hi, how's it going?
Hi, stranger.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it was useful at least for like when we wanted to make projects and when I ran for like what you call it class president.
Yeah,
What
president.
it's called. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
When I
Counselor.
ran for it, when I ran for it, like people knew me, so like I got a lot of votes on that side. But
Mm-mm.
at the end of the day, it was just between another guy and me, and the other guy was like vastly more popular. But I secured
yeah.
like a lot of vote from the people who like usually wouldn't vote, so I take pride in that one. But other than that, it's like, yeah, I feel you. It's like, oh hey, how's it going? Oh hey, you know me. I think the place where the most popular was with the teachers.
They're like, you're
Oh.
a favorite.
Trouble students. No, not even. Well, maybe for a few, but mostly because of trouble student. So when we went from primary to secondary, I remember like one of the first teachers in secondary. They were like, you know, taking list. Yeah, and they're like, Inti, and I was like, hi. And like, oh, so you are the famous Mr. Inti. I was like,
Oh,
"Hi,
no.
what does that mean?
Oh, I've
That's
had
a good teacher's
that.
talk.
I've had that, but not in the sense. Like, a little more closer to Cece's experience, where some of the teachers knew me because of my sister, but none of, like, there was a big enough age gap that I didn't get anybody from her year, like, talking to me. Because they were usually,
That's
like,
fair.
in a different area of the school, because there's, like, a 4-year age gap.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the teachers, like, knew my sister. Because she had like good grades. I didn't have good grades, so I was the disappointment round 2. That I would come in, that it's just like, oh yeah, we have high expectations for you, and then I'd come in and be like, time to lower them, time to disappoint you. They
See,
still.
Did they ever tell you that to your face, or was it like something?
No,
you inferred?
it was one of those like they always acted like really nicely like initially. Not that I pissed them off. It was just like I didn't get the good enough grades, and I wasn't super like social with the teachers. Especially like later on when I was like invisibility is how I survive.
Right.
So it was like
and because your
initially.
sister's definitely like an extrovert.
Oh, I don't think she would say that. I think she'd say she's an extroverted introvert, but she's better at socializing than me. Definitely.
I gotcha.
So yeah, she was like the outgoing, sporty child. And I was the creative, introverted loner. That was polar opposite there. So yeah, I had the whole like teachers being like, oh my gosh, you're so-and-so's little sister. And before my sister graduated, when I did see her, like her classmates, they would be like, Minnie so-and-so, and they'd like call me my sister's name and just add Minnie in the front of it, and I'd be like so annoyed. Like, I have a name.
That sounds horrible.
It's because we
That sounds
looked really
terrible.
similar, and so it was just a shorter version of her. So yeah, it's lovely.
I mean, it's better than you know. If you put a wig on, you'd look exactly like your sister.
You know what, that
That's what happens to me.
that is worse. Happens? It's still happening?
Yes, it still happens. I don't get it.
What
I know
your
you were a
sister's
fanboy.
co-workers are like, have you tried wearing a wig?
Your sister's coworkers.
More like my sister's friends.
Hey,
She's allowed to
heard
have
of this
friends.
thing called HRT.
So, I got that, but my sister was bad at math, and I was good at math. So we
Oh,
kind of like
so,
swapped
like-
what we were good at.
See, that's way better. Like, the teachers come in with, like, low expectations for you, and then you, like, exceed their
No, they had-
expectations. That's great.
They had high expectations for me in S&E and like the stuff that my sister was good at, and then I was good at science and math. We just swapped.
No, as soon as I, like, well, the grades lowered, they just stopped having expectations for me, and I'm like, great, now just forget I exist. And I'll fade into the back row of the class. It's fine. Yeah, I was only like the teacher's pet depending on the class. And because like sometimes there would be classes where whilst I was invisible, I was still the best student in the class because everybody else in there was kind of a jackass. And had like zero respect for the teacher. And it's like, I was like, compared to them, I didn't like cause any trouble, and I'd just like listen to music or watch something on my laptop while I did the work. So I did the work and I was quiet, and they were like, that makes you my favorite. Compared to everybody else who isn't doing any of the work, is leaving when they want. You are wonderful. And I'm like, cool. Just don't put me at the front of the class and I'm fine. Except one time that didn't happen.
Was your school format like the American school format, like you go to the class and whatever, or
What do you mean, like you go to the class?
No, so
yeah, because
we had
like, for
we didn't have
example-
like a homeroom and then everything was done in that class. We would like
Ah,
move
okay.
room. Well, at least I had to move rooms.
Did you have a homeroom
For
there?
everything.
Yeah. Yes,
We-
our school
we
system
didn't.
was similar to, like at least ours was similar to Japan. So like you have a homeroom teacher and the teachers come and teach you in your class.
Yeah, the teachers move rooms.
Oh,
But, like,
okay. No, we
For
moved
us,
rooms.
we had to go. I had to go to like specific sections. So I did
Same.
media. So I'd go to like the amphitheater basically area.
Yeah, exactly. So
I
I
had
did
to
the
get
same.
to clarify because like the teacher was like, you don't leave whenever you want. It's like, wow, I just imagine students like in the homeroom just standing up, just leaving, just fine.
Well, it was like each each subject had their own like class kind of thing, like their own
Mhm.
room, and
I didn't even
yeah.
think about that.
and so I think we did have homeroom, but I never got the purpose of it because I only did homeroom. We only started doing homeroom in high school, so I had junior school and middle school. So from like I think it was like year 10 to 12, we had homeroom. I did not get the purpose of it because you kind of just sat in a room doing whatever you wanted for like 20 minutes, did a roll call, and then went to your classes. Like nothing else happened in homeroom except roll call. Maybe there was
That's
like
what it was.
any
It was
announcements,
It was
but,
just to know.
but yeah, just to know,
was-
like know if anybody was absent, I guess.
Yeah.
And then yeah, you go to
Is
whatever
there-
your classes are. And some people have different classes because you can choose what subjects you want to do. Which, by the way, have you guys heard what school's like now? I'm sorry, I feel like old saying this, but like I was talking
No.
to like my cousin the other day, who's younger than me. I think I was talking to my cousin and we were chatting about his younger brother who's just like finishing high school, but he's still in high
It'd-
school.
It'd be disappointing if they're older than you and they were still in high school.
Well, that's just mean. We don't judge people for being late graduates. But no, so like the subjects are way more, they were different. Like they have way more options. Like they had accounting, they had robotics, which I kind of had robotics. Like it was starting to begin when I was like graduating. They had like one class. Then there's like, I think one of the classes was AI programming. So programming specifically for
Jesus.
AI. And I was like, what are all these like, financing I think was another one. And I was like, these are classes for high school kids. And I was like, what are these subjects that are now like normalized? That
I wish
I
I
would
had
have
that.
loved to do that.
I know, yeah, because you had like social studies back when we did it, you know, society and environment, you know, you have history, geography. I think I had like one opportunity for a programming class and it was like an elective and it was like a lot of people just messed around. They didn't really do the programming aspect of it. It was just for kids to be in a classroom and not be like walking around. But like
Yeah.
the main ones were your like sciences and your math and history and stuff like that. Not freaking AI programming and financing and accounting. And I'm like, what are
Bro,
these
I would have
options?
loved for school to teach me how to do my taxes.
Right?
Jesus.
That there was like
That being
actually
said-
an option for that?
That being said, so far, taxes haven't been that hard to do in my life.
Yeah, but you still had to like figure it out on your own. It's like just having like one class like at the end of your schooling for like a semester or
Mandatory,
two.
like, one term.
Yeah,
Here's how you do all your tax.
just would have been like helpful, you know?
Mm.
Even like in like, you know what would be nice? A class to teach me about all the different insurance types and like the basics of that.
no.
Like that would have been nice. Just like general life stuff that you should know.
Yeah, like
Honestly, that would have been so useful.
Right?
like what countries can I get to with a visa of Australia, like an Australian visa? Because we're allowed in a lot of countries, just not all of them.
Wow, I didn't even know
Like-
that.
Because you need a visa specific to the country to get into a lot of countries, but because we're
Mhm.
Australian, like we can go to Japan without a visa, we can go to Korea without a visa.
Yeah,
Like,
there's certain.
I'm pretty sure we could
countries
go to
where,
America without it.
Yeah, there's a lot of countries that have specific things with other countries. Like for example, for Peru, we had we can go to any country basically, in almost any country in South America without a visa, without anything, just because of the Andes Association thingy that they have, where like there's a bunch of countries all together, so you can just go there without any issues anywhere. For the US, you do need a visa.
Yeah.
For Mexico, you don't actually, surprisingly. Like even if it's on
if-
the other side of the world.
And if you're in anywhere in the EU, you can go to anywhere else in the EU. Like,
Yeah. It's really weird when you start to look up like what countries with your country's passport you can go without having a visa. It's like, huh, that's weird. Like, I could go to Korea and I don't need a visa. Japan does though. So you know.
yeah, it's weird. But like it's just weird to me that Australia has like almost the most out of anyone that isn't in like a compact amount of countries.
A compact amount of
Like the EU is just a lot of countries all close together.
It's true. It's
yeah,
true.
I know what you mean. It's just funny.
They're compact.
Yeah. It's a weird way of phrasing it, but
Um,
it makes sense.
I mean, it's not wrong.
Yeah.
It's also what I
EU
said.
And North America is just slowly losing, free real estate.
True. But that's also what I have on my dating profile. Compact. I'm not small. No. Compact.
Winsipped.
That feels like, like when a real estate agent is like describing a really small place. They're like, it's cozy.
It's cozy.
It's cozy
It's
and comfortable.
really good at night.
It's
Wait.
really good as long as you're not over 4 feet tall.
Yeah.
Great for
Exactly.
children. if you're planning to have children, this is a great place.
Is this just things that you can say about a house that you can also put on your dating profile? Go.
Great with children. Comfortable.
Pets allowed. Renovation allowed. I'm willing to change.
What do you mean renovation allowed?
I'm willing to change. I'm willing to change.
Room to grow.
Lived in.
No, that's awful. Repairable.
Character. Has-
Oh yeah, it's a fixer-upper.
It's a fixer-upper. That's what I was thinking. Expansion opportunities. Great heirs.
Owned before.
Used.
Pre-owned. Used? No, that's
Available
sad.
for rent.
That's okay.
Affordable.
Requires maintenance. No air conditioning.
No air
That's it.
conditioning.
Oh. Deposit
Oh.
required.
You're a sugar baby.
Clean basement.
Multiple.
No.
Multiple entrances.
Ample attic room. If you're a little bit pudgy, you can just put a built-in mattress.
Well furnished, just like
Well
inside.
furnished. Yes, there you go.
Okay. So
Oh no. Oh.
What
So
were you gonna
bad.
say?
Brilliant. What did you want to be when you grew up? This is a game. This is a game dev podcast, but
Oh.
kinda.
God, what did I want to be when I grew up? You know, that question changed. The answer to that question changed so many times over the years.
Yeah, but when you were younger,
When you were a
what
wee
did you
lad.
want to be? When
No,
you
it's
yeah,
a
when
wee
you were when I was a young warthog.
When you
When
were a
I
young
was-
warthog.
A young boy. My father was a young boy. When I was really young, oh God, I'm trying to remember.
God.
I wanted to be
Sorry.
a doctor.
You want to be
You
a
wanna be a
doctor?
I wanted
Also,
to be
sorry.
a doctor. Yeah, go for
I
it.
thought of one more for the house thing.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
there
go
we
Real
ahead.
quick, sorry. Wheelchair accessible. Sorry, it was really good, so I
No,
had to.
that's good. That's good.
Anyway, you
That's
wanted to be a
awful.
doctor.
You wanted to be a doctor.
Yes, because it's wheelchair accessible.
Yeah,
I wanted
yeah.
to be a doctor, and I thought it was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And I thought more about it. I was like, nah, I don't want to be a doctor. And I was like, oh, I want to be a lawyer. It's like, nah, I don't want to be a lawyer. I was like, wait, I started like that because I saw it on TV. What I want to do is not that. It's what they show you on TV that is that. I want to work in. I want to make movies. I want to work in TV. I want to make media entertainment.
Yeah.
And it was basically that because the career of game development was not a thing
That's fair. Yeah.
right, for a long time.
For a
And
really long
then
time.
It's still barely a thing. Let's be honest.
it's still barely a thing.
Yeah.
So I went to university, college, whatever. I was there for a good time, and I was going for AV communications. And well, first of all, fuck university. I'm gonna
Oh.
be honest. It was
Yeah.
a time, but it was also awful. And when I realized that I am,
We had like a
I probably
whole
still am.
conversation on the last episode where we talked about I think we talked about the benefits, like the pros and cons of having gone to university. Cause last episode we had Zitvoid on and we went to university with them, and so that was was it worth it? Was like a big conversation, you know?
yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna thread ground again on that one, but I felt like my university time was both a waste of money, but also a really good experience as a person. Like,
Yeah,
as me
that
as a
was
person to
how
grow up and
I
understand
felt.
shit.
It was I was glad, for personal growth, it was good. And it helped me decide, where I wanted to go, career-wise. But, in terms of, the degree and the studies and stuff like that, I did not feel like it was worth it, if you know what I mean?
No, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was going for AV communications and I ended up dropping out
Yeah.
just because, it just wasn't, I was saying, back then and even now, I don't think I'm made for, regular type of education systems where, you have your midterm exam and your final
yeah, I
exam and you
agree.
have to look at this dark subject. I'm not made for that. I'm terrible at it. And
Yeah.
it's funny because before any exam, before midterms, before finals, I would be giving not remedial, but I would basically be going over the entire subject to the rest of the class. We would just group up and tell it. So I knew that shit, but the moment you give me a test, the moment you give me the paper with a test, I would just go empty.
Yeah.
That's
You,
that's
blank.
the problem with freaking testing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's terrible because you do know it. It's just that when you're put in that situation, at least in my case, my brain just shut down. But I remember everything. I remember everything I learned about even the dumbest things. I don't remember dates. I'm terrible at that kind of stuff. But if you tell me, hey, what started World War One? Oh, it's because to do for what the fuck his name is in English.
Franz
God
Ferdinand?
assassinated. Yeah, Franz Ferdinand got assassinated.
Like the band.
And there was a massive already existing pressure from both countries that led to the destabilization. Because of that, that just led to the war. Like, I remember that. I remember Bay of Pigs. Like, I remember a lot of shit from like just history. But when you tell me, okay, give me the exact order date of these events, I don't fucking know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Like-
why I went and studied, like, I specifically, when I went into university, I looked for degrees that didn't have tests, because I'm the same. I can't do tests. Like, I mean, I can do them, but I barely pass them, and I will have, like, studied that for, like, hours, for, like,
Yeah.
at least, like, 2 weeks beforehand, and I will still, like, barely pass. So,
See,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
my university was like super traditional, so it was like midterms, finals, and eventually came to a point where like I failed like a total of 8 classes, like not all at the same time, but like, you know, you get to that point, and I got kicked out. And during the time I got kicked out, I did IT work at a company for like the whole semester that I wasn't studying. It was fucking awful. So that made me want to go and try again. And even then, I wasn't really getting the results I wanted, even if I was going with a new sense of purpose, because I just couldn't deal with it. The knowledge was just not saying. And that's when, like, through a lot of random stuff, I went to the US, I applied for University of Houston, I got accepted. I never actually went there because they require like $63,000 in the bank account or something like that to prove they could pay tuition. And I was like,
Oh.
yeah, that's not gonna fucking happen.
see,
And on
that's
the way back, yeah, go ahead.
I'm just like that's why I'm in debt, because they let me go in debt.
Woo!
because it was an
On
option.
the way back from the airport, I saw an ad for like one of the art schools, and they were like new career game development. I was like, I want to try that, but I wasn't sure. And then my mom was like, if it'll make you happy and you feel you can do it, try it. I tried, I got in, and I ended up like out of the 6 semesters, like 3 years that it takes to the entire career, I basically spent like 5 of those semesters with like a scholarship due to excellent results, or what it's called.
Oh wow.
So it was way different because number one, it was something I wasn't really interested in. Like, I love video games. I love talking about them. And number two, like, the way that now I can say we because I work there. The way that we grade is based not on exams, but on project throughout the semester. So you can prove that you have the knowledge by applying the knowledge into a tangible project that you can present and explain. And that in
Yeah.
itself shows that you know what you're doing and you know what you're studying. And it made it so much better. Because I wasn't being like presented a paper and be like, do you remember exactly what are the 5 names of the programs that you can use to do 3D modeling? It's like, okay, this is your project. What do you
What the-
use? This. How do you use it? Blah. Cheers.
Hey, yo, CZ, do you remember the name 3 programs you can 3D model in right now?
Maya, 3S Max, Jackie Chan. Damn it.
And
Yeah, well,
correct,
Nintendo, he
everybody
does
knows
3D
you can
modeling.
totally do 3D modeling with Jackie Chan.
Yeah, like
Yeah, you
Ghost.
can just
He's standing
reform your
We
face.
just, you and
No,
Jackie
he's
Chan get a
standing
little bit of
behind me and
play.
remoting clay.
Yeah, you do the scene from Ghost. Honestly, I feel like if you actually had that opportunity, you would 100% say yes, and then say that that was one of the
Yeah.
best experiences that you had.
Dude,
You know, I once got offered to be beat up in front of like a live audience, and I was like, I am so sad I can't say yes.
Oh,
So, when was it? I think it's 2019. On 2019, there was an event back at home, and during that time, the company I was working with, we were organizing the Latin American Peruvian branch of the Mortal Kombat 11 tournament.
okay. Yeah.
It's a mouthful. So we were working with Warner Brothers, and
Yeah.
obviously NetherRealm by extension.
Mhm.
And during one of the biggest gaming events in Peru, like one of the biggest, like our pseudo E3 or whatever you want to call it. It was just a gaming convention, and we were working with Warner Bros. NetherRealm, and we were making this entire tournament thing. And one of the guests for the event in general, for the convention, not for our tournament, but for the convention, was Joe Piscina, who was the actor that played Johnny Cage in the original Mortal Kombat games.
Oh man.
And the guy who was the agent that was, in charge of him is a friend of mine. And we were just talking before the event started and everything, and he was like, hey, we need somebody for Joe to demonstrate the stuff from Mortal Kombat on. So basically, are you okay with him beating the fuck out of you live on stage? I was like,
I would have been like, yes.
I was like, yes, I want. And then when I asked my boss if I could, because we were preparing, he was like, you cannot, because we got a direct message from Warner Brothers that they do not want us to do anything with Joe Piscina because of whatever beef they have between each other.
Oh,
so I had to turn it down, and I was so depressed. I was like, God damn.
Can you beat me up on the
My
side?
brain wants to be like, what if you could be like,
it's Johnny Cage.
My question is like, I was like, would there be a loophole of being like, hey, I'm sick today, so it's like technically off of hours, so it's like, maybe you can get away with it if you're like, I wasn't working then, so I wasn't affiliated with Warner Brothers.
Big fan, just punch me in the nuts once.
Yeah, do the split thingy. It was.
My brain's like, what if I wear a mask?
I'm not gonna. Yeah, I know, right? But no, we couldn't. Like, I'm not gonna like shit talk Warner Brothers because the experience was great, and they also paid trip to freaking Chill It to interview Ed Boon. So like,
what the heck, bro?
It paid off in the end, but it's so sad. I was like, it's Johnny Cage, and I'm contractually obligated to turn down the opportunity to be on stage with him. That sucks.
That's
stuff like that happens, dude.
Yeah, dude. That's so upsetting.
Or if you just missed something that could have been really good. Like,
don't even.
Dude, a celebrity came to my house. A celebrity that is like S-tier celebrity right now. Came to my house while I wasn't there when I was younger. And now, I'm pissed. I'm absolutely pissed.
I'm lucky that I've never had that happen to me. I've never had any of that.
True.
And that's both sad, but also like, bro, like I've never experienced that. Like I can only imagine it, but.
Dude, I'm just so mad. I'm just so mad.
I almost had that. I got cockblocked by COVID though.
Ugh, yeah.
So, what was it? In 2019, they announced the GDC 2020, right?
Yeah.
And one of the guests, one of the people speaking at the panel is somebody that I look up to a lot. I admire this man, and he's one of the reasons why I got into, the entire gaming area. Hideo Kojima was going to speak at GDC 2020 because Death Stranding had just released, and I was super excited because I was going to have the opportunity to meet Hideo Kojima. Like, I was so excited. I got the plane ticket ready, I had the hotel booked, I had my invitation, I was so ready, and then COVID happened.
No.
And they canceled, and Hideo Kojima canceled, and then the entire event was canceled, and I was like, and I was in my room for like a day and a half just contemplating existence. It was so sad.
Bro, that sucks. It's the ones that you like almost get that hurt the most because it's like so close, yet so far.
Like if I had known they were gonna be in my freaking house, I would have stayed home. I wouldn't have gone and hung out with my friends that day. I would have been like, oh, hi.
One of those days there that you're like, why do I have friends? Why am I not antisocial?
Exactly.
That would have made me like stay at home for like a week. I'd be like, I know it's not gonna happen again, but like if I leave, it will.
Cause like, so to preface why they were in my house, right, Inti?
Yeah, I'm questioning that one.
So there was a certain YouTuber that I used to live with, right?
The cards guy.
The cards guy.
I think we talked about this previously.
Yeah.
I feel like
And so basically, he knew a really big name like back before they were a big name. Which I'm not gonna say anything because I shouldn't say anything. Because
and whatnot.
yeah, it's safer. But like I'll tell you after the stream because I trust this man with my life.
I thought you were talking about the famous
He's seen the
person.
passwords to our games and stuff by accident that one time.
Yeah.
But like straight up, but I have seen another celebrity that is lesser celebrity, but it's not as cool. It's not as cool.
Not as cool, no.
And so this YouTuber guy invited this other guy over to our house, and I was like, okay, cool. I didn't know about it. He didn't tell me until he was gone.
By the way, we had Tom Hanks in the house a while ago.
It's like that.
Just to rub it in.
God, that would...
Yeah, no, I don't even think I can like think of any time that I've ever had anybody like remotely famous. You know what I mean? In like a conversation.
I walked past Gordon Ramsay. I didn't say hi, but I walked past him.
I've never even seen, like, I've never even had that, like, you know, when you walk by and you see a celebrity, you know what I mean? Like, I've never even had that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But also,
but, like,
I have a
didn't
really
say
bad
anything.
memory, so there's also a total chance that I have, and I just, like, I didn't remember who they were at the time. I was like, man, another person.
She just like walks past celebrities all the time. She's like, oh wow, in our little world. Oh wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Look at the back of my hand.
Look at that. Famous
Look
person
at the
over there.
back of my head.
I'm like, I'll be like looking at that
How
and
many
be
pizza
like,
breaks can I do?
oh my gosh, they have 50% off? I didn't go in that store and there's like a famous celebrity like standing in front of it, everybody's taking photos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, 50% off, that is a great deal. Are they closing or something?
No wonder these guys are taking photos.
No wonder there's such a crowd around it. I was just like, yeah, I'm very oblivious to like a lot of stuff, so I would not put it past me to have had one of the experiences and just not known it.
That's true.
One day I will notice. I'll say that. One day, I'm gonna see someone.
No, you won't.
Well, I want.
You won't. You'll walk past people, and I'll be sitting there like at a game dev conference and randomly talking to a guy from Nintendo.
Okay, I was not with you then. I was at a different part, like a different section of the conference. I might have even been at like a panel. Okay, I was not with you. There's no way
That's
I would have
true.
known.
I think that was when you had a dog eat your hat
Oh yeah.
What?
People, I did
at
not
a
realize.
GDC event.
Okay, there was a dog panel. Okay, at a GDC panel, there was like, what was
Wait, you were
it?
at GDC?
No, not GDC, dude.
Or is it? Wait, what is
No.
it called here? GEC?
No, it's not GDC. I always forget the name of it. I'll look it up.
I was
But
like, if you were at GDC, we should have met up. I was like, damn.
I don't. Not the actual one, the Australian one.
yeah,
There's
the
a
Game
difference.
Dev Australian conference.
Oh, GDA? Maybe.
I think it's GDA.
Maybe.
No, GCAP. GCAP, that's it.
GCAP.
Yeah, it's G something, which is why it starts with GC, which is why I get confused.
I was
Anyways,
like, G something.
yeah,
Games Connect. Okay, yeah.
yeah. So GCAP, there was a panel, like a year ago, where it was, I think I can't remember how it related to game development, but it was like, I think it was like how I think it was like how to read behaviors or whatever, for like reading behaviors in team dynamics or whatever, and then relating that to reading dog behaviors. So they had like dogs they were training, and so they brought the dogs in. And they asked for like someone to volunteer their hat, and of course I was so excited for this panel. I got there, I like made sure I got to it early, and then made sure I was sitting up at the front. And as soon as they asked for volunteers, I shot my hand up, like, immediately, because I was like, I'm wearing a beret today. I'm so glad that I was wearing a hat today to have this opportunity. And so I was so excited, and I put my hand up, and they're like, okay, yeah, we got somebody. And so they grab my beret, and they just do the, like, you know, like, fetch stuff for the dog, asking the dog to put the hat away. Anyways, afterwards, after this happened, I put the beret back on, and And I was just so happy. I gave it dog pats and I walked out of it, and then I went back to networking, as I was supposed to be doing at this conference. And I was mingling, and I was like, hi. And they're like, oh, you're the chick that got a little too excited to give their hat to a dog. And I was like, didn't realize I was that excited. I thought I put up my hand normally. And they're like, you still got a little bit of dog slobber on your hat. Do you want a tissue? And I'm like, yes, please. And this was not like between one person. This was a group of people standing around having this conversation. As I like,
and then during that, I was off on the side, sitting, taking a drink, and there's just like a random like dude sitting next to me, and I'm like, "Oh, so what are you here for?" And then
what are you in for?
I'm here with Nintendo, and I'm like.
Small time Dev is just freaking out internally. And it's like, play cool, play cool. Play
oh,
cool.
Nintendo, that's awesome. What do you do? And like it was scary. I got his email.
Nice.
I got his number. I think he likes me.
But like, into you have such great like stories about just like the game dev world, like meeting freaking Mortal Kombat people, hosting an event with them. Oh,
and I have
like
giving my hat to a dog.
Yeah, you've given your hat to a dog.
That's
do you have
the
any other,
comparison.
Where you got stood up by Sony?
I got stood up by Sony. By PlayStation.
Elaborate.
So at GDC this year, since it's probably going to be my last one for a bit, due to a lot of things, I went mostly for work with the company that I was working at, the esports company. And since I was going for work and I had an esports company behind me, a lot of the things that I did was I basically only went to like 2 talks, and then the rest of the day was just reporting and setting up meetings and trying to contact and connect people. And it turns out that one of the big hunches from PlayStation for esports was there. And I scheduled a meeting with him because, you know, the company I was working with does esports, and we want to expand to we either want to help companies expand into South America or expand ourselves out of South America with events, sponsorships, and stuff. And I connected with him, and he was like, "Hey, how's it going? Hey, do you want to? Can you meet?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." He gave me a date and a location through the app that you have for GDC and everything.
Yeah, the stupid app that sometimes works.
Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't. Well, it worked this time. I had the meeting, I had it booked, and I was there for like an hour almost. Waiting for the guy, and he never showed up. And then he replied, "Hey, sorry, I can't make it. Can you send an email to the? No, can you contact this person and talk to them there?" I was like, "Oh, okay, sure." And I sent to somebody else, and I was like, "Well, that's like a whole hour of my life that I'm not getting back."
Yeah, it really
was
sucks.
So because the guy was like, "Yeah, we can meet up and we can talk," and then he just didn't show up. I was like, "Oh, well."
Yeah. I think we got stood up a couple times. Not by anybody as impressive as Sony, but yeah, we got stood up at our game conference mates. Twice, I think.
But I mean, we got to talk to John Armour Games himself.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty cool.
John Armour Games? Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
You know, the creator of Armour Games?
Yeah.
Dude's cool.
Yeah, he was
I know
very
exactly
chill.
who you're talking about. I hate it.
He was chill. Whatchamacallit? He was chill when we were meeting him. I think. Whatchamacallit? I wouldn't say he ghosted us, but what was it? I think we just like contacted him a little bit afterwards, and he didn't respond, which is fine. But he was really chill in person. Yeah. But yeah, no, we were stood up, like, on our first meet, we were, like, stood up, and then on our last meet, we were stood up, and, like, yeah, later that day, we got a message as well, being like, hey, sorry, I couldn't do it, maybe try doing it, like, maybe, we can chat a bit, like, on call, like, late, like, after the conference or whatever, and then I got stood up again. I got stood up twice before I actually got to talk to this person. I don't even remember who they were, I feel bad. Or maybe I just don't want to name names. That makes me sound like more professional. So let's go that way.
Yeah,
That's
it's
fair.
Sony again.
It's Sony again.
Sony. No, I mean I literally understand like
It's I've
Yeah, he's probably a busy
understood
guy.
like that was one of the learning experiences with that. Like was you're gonna get stood up. Like expect to be stood up by people when you're doing
Yeah.
these.
honestly
But it was
a lot of times
chaotic.
you're gonna get stood up.
It was conferences are chaotic. There's so much going on and you need to be somewhere at all times. So I honestly don't even blame people.
Yeah, there's at least from my experiences, there's a lot of walking. There's
There's a
much
lot of
walking.
walking, yeah. And we were doing it like just as people were coming. I don't know, it was like kind of post-COVID. It was like tail end. It was post-COVID for us, but not the place we're at. So we live in Perth and the conference was in Melbourne. And they hadn't quite come out of all of their quarantine restrictions just yet. So like we came from not wearing masks at all because we'd come out of like quarantine completely to going back to needing to wear masks again.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Which
fair.
I should have
I mean,
looked
to be
into
fair-
before, but I forgot about it. It was a very last minute
Yeah.
conference.
I mean, but to be fair, conventions I would like at least like even this year at GDC, I literally spent the entire convention wearing a mask. I was not gonna risk it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I look
especially with
better with a mask
people-
on because
especially with people like coming around to like coming from different parts of like the world, or at least for us, different parts of
Yeah.
Australia.
Hmm.
and like you don't want to get sick while you're in another country or in another area that you don't know.
Yeah,
Well, coming back from it.
yeah.
Mm.
I mean, honestly, if I had COVID and then had to take a plane ride while I had COVID, or even if I had a cold, it is the worst time. If you've ever gotten on a plane while you have like blocked sinuses, it feels
Awful.
like your head will rip apart, like from the center. It's the worst feeling.
I had to endure 21 hours of that.
Yeah, I think I
Oh.
remember you telling me something about that, and I remember thinking, like, that is crazy. Like, I had to just do it for, like, a couple hours. It's the worst part is the ascent and descent. Like, that's the worst part.
Oh yeah, when your ear starts popping and you're like, "Ugh."
And the pressure starts, like, building in your head.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's
But, like, generally-
hard. Yeah.
Do you
Sorry.
have like a problem with flying when that happens? Like just in general rather than just when you're sick
I
and
mean,
flying?
I don't. It was only when I was sick, and I've only done it, like, twice. The first time was, like, the worst. Luckily, I was, like, on the recovery on the mend the second time. But yeah, it's just when you're, at least when I've had it, it's just been, like, if you're sick.
Because like
Well-
straight up, I've never been sick on a plane, like ever, which is good for me. Haven't flown enough though. But
Fair.
my friend basically dies when he gets on a plane
Oh god.
every time, and he flies a lot more than me. And so as soon as his
Yeah.
ears pop, you'll see him like sleep medication, conk out. He doesn't want to be alive for the plane.
Nope, that's me nowadays. No, not nowadays, all the time. Mostly, I have claustrophobia.
Oh, that must make
Oh.
plane rides
Being a
hard.
plane. Yeah, being in a plane makes me very nervous. It's not like I'm scared because I know that
But, like, you
mathematically
get
speaking, it's
anxious.
very likely. Yeah, I get really anxious.
it
so
like-
the
like-
moment I get into a plane,
Kind of like, what is it called? What's it called? It's like, it's not illogical, but
irrational.
irrational. Yeah, is it like one of those where you logically you know it's all safe, but like your body just reacts like a different way?
Yeah, I'm not used to being in small-ish spaces without any way
One
to
way
do
to
anything
fix
about
that.
it. Like,
Sorry.
yeah.
Mariam,
Put me in a
Sorry.
confident-
Sorry.
So anywhere that I cannot stretch my legs gives me anxiety. I think that's the best way to describe it. So when I'm in a plane or in a bus for extended periods of time, well, on the bus it's less like that because I can stop the bus. I can like immediately like pull the emergency thingy, or like if I'm on a public transportation, I can just get off. But on a plane you can't. So the moment I know I have to go into a plane, I straight up don't sleep the day before. And right before I get into the plane, I take a couple of sleeping pills. So
That's
by the time
actually a
you're
really-
starting to take off, I just go off.
Yeah, that's a good method. Like, I'm happy for you that you found a way around it. I mean, it's not like the best way, obviously. I'm sure that's not the healthiest, but it's like, it's a way to do it that gives you the least amount of anxiety. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
I don't know what you mean.
100%
That's
like.
healthy to me.
bro. I wish I could deal with my irrational fear like the same way, where I just stay up the night before and then take some sleeping drugs and then like let them do what they will. Because like my irrational fear is I have an irrational fear of needles. Like I know like logically I have to get my shots and everything like that, and I still do, but like I go in like full of anxiety and like I can't like talk myself down. And so it's like I love the idea of just being like not sleeping and then just popping some like sleeping pills in the waiting room and then just being like, just jab me when I become unconscious.
Yeah,
It's the entire point of getting your blood taken that you don't eat anything so it doesn't destroy the test.
It's like 3, 2, 1. You can jab me now. Just like drops.
Yeah. You just like having a blood test and then you can see I'm positive for like narcotics or whatever. Just like drugs. All these drugs in my system.
Close your eyes, it's no longer there, as they say. I mean, I have an anxiety with needles too. Like somewhat of an irrational fear, but only when I'm not looking at them. If I don't know where the needle is, it makes me nervous.
Really?
I
can't
look at it as it stabs me.
That's the opposite. I can't look at needles, and I'm the like bad to the point that I'll be watching a movie and there'll be a section where they're giving someone a needle, you know, they're giving someone a little jab, and I have to look away, and I also can't hear the sound either. So I will make noises to cover up whatever sound is being made when they poke them with the needle, and like look away.
Oh man. There are some really good like practical effects that just destroy me.
I can't believe that. Yeah, it's like just Inti needing to see it. I get it, but at the same time, I'm also like, it's the complete opposite with me. I'm just like, don't tell me what's
But like
happening.
straight up, what ruined me the most, like needle-wise, recently. I'm not bad with needles or medical stuff usually, but watching people play mortuary assistant. Whenever they stab the guts and like drain the blood, them moving it around ruins me.
See, I feel like, I mean, I haven't played Mortuary Assistant. I probably should sometime, but I feel like I would be okay with it. But the needle stuff, anything that's like poking something or moving something underneath the skin, I can't do it.
Yeah, no, that's what they do. They like move like around to like clear,
but
I guess, the stomach and blood.
If it's open and you can see it, I'm like, it's just
it's
gore.
like you're like poking and like the skin like
the skin
folds around the hole that you're poking in.
It's like the Beatles.
It's the poking part that gets
the
me.
Mummy.
Wait, what? Oh, I thought you had the bear. I was like, how is it like Ringo Starr?
Yeah, Ringo Starr under your skin. No, I meant the Beatles from the Mummy, like that sequence. Yeah, where it just goes through the skin. It's like, ew.
See, I'm really...
I didn't mind that in comparison. Like, I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. But seeing the mortuary assistant, I was like,
look, I like. On the one hand, it's like, wow, they did a really good job because it like really immerses you. And like, to be honest, like, I'm actually like super jealous. I'm super jealous of good games that have good like sound design, because sound design is, I'm not saying I have specialties, but sound design is definitely a weakness. I don't understand it, and I wish that I need to take some classes or something like that just to like figure out how to know good sound, because I'm like, I hear two things and I'm like, they sound the same to me. I don't get it.
But it's not even just like the sound that ruins it for you. It's also the programs with sound. Let me refer to the Wise incident.
No! I hate
the what?
That was
so you know the program Wise?
What?
It's like a program for Unity. Was it Unity?
Unreal? It's like I think
Unity.
it can be used. I haven't really.
It can be used for all of them.
Yeah, because it's a separate program.
It's what our university told us to use for sound
Yeah.
in games.
I'll look it up.
Okay.
Now.
WWISE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
There you
audio
go.
kinetic wise, a software for interactive media and video games available for free, non-commercial use, blah blah blah, etc. 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 So it is just.
And that thing
it killed me.
hated T. That program had malice towards T.
It drove me insane, and I was already going insane because I was on a deadline and this was at the end of the semester and I already had enough problems and I couldn't get any sound into the game. It's like sound is a massive component of your game and I couldn't do it. And it's like we had all the sounds ready, we had a sound student doing the sound for us, we had all the files. I was typing in the code. It was perfect. There was no flaws. I am dyslexic, but I tried to do that. I checked that code like 100 times. I had other people checking my code. I had the lecturer looking over my code. I had other people who were also using Wise for their game, for their group project, looking at mine, trying to help me.
Like, they would do it the same way that they were doing it, where it was working on their games, and it just wouldn't work on ours.
Just wouldn't work. And to be honest, I don't even remember how we ended up getting it in. I think there was... my gut is telling me that we might have ended up ditching Wise at the last minute and doing it manually.
I think our teacher literally grabbed it and was like, I'll just implement them.
Yeah, because
he didn't have any idea why it wasn't working.
Yeah. And it was like a week or a couple days before we had to showcase our game. And it was yeah, it was that bad. Even on the day
really
we were
fast.
running around putting code in there. But yeah, I was going like insane with that program. So sound and me aren't super compatible. Don't have the best compatibility. This is why I
just like how for 20 minutes before the stream we were sorting out sound stuff.
I have to double
Classic.
check it. I'm
mean, that's
trying. I'm sorry.
Oh god, I don't even remember. It's been like what, 2 years since I last touched Unity.
Oh,
I want to go to
what
Unreal.
do you use now?
Yeah, I've been meaning to go into Unreal, but I think if I do it with my current video card, it's gonna fucking explode.
Really?
It's like, at least
Wait.
Unreal 5 is like very intensive.
Yeah, but isn't Unreal 5 like the free one or whatever? I think
Yep,
it's 5.
that's the free to use one.
Yeah. So that's the one I gotta get as well. So I gotta
That's
get
the one I'm
fifth
planning to start learning.
I wanna just start learning it because there was all that drama with Unity that we had like not that long ago.
Oh god.
So much
yeah.
drama, honestly. It literally changed on a day-to-day basis. Like, that's why I didn't do the research. I was hearing updates from my chat every time I streamed throughout the week. I was like, so tell me what's happening with Unity now. And then once it calmed down, I was like, okay, so how did it end?
I still don't know.
And Oopsie,
Yeah.
we made a funky walkie. That's basically Unity.
Basically,
after what
yeah,
happened.
they like basically
And
took a
nobody has
bunch
any
of it
faith in them.
back.
Yeah, they were like, you just wanted money.
Yeah,
Sort
pretty
of.
much. Nobody knows how it ended, yeah. But yeah, so...
Not even Unity.
Yeah, not even Unity. Not even the Unity execs.
I mean, to be fair, the employees didn't know.
They
a
didn't.
lot of the employees at Unity didn't know. Yeah, it
A
was
lot
just
of
announced by
people-
the CEO
and it
or
was-
whatever.
There was so much drama, especially not just for like customers, but people working at Unity. Because I'm pretty sure I can't remember if people got fired, but I know several people in the company they just quit. They quit as soon as this news came out. And then for like people to take, I don't know if they took it all back, but I know they took most of it back. And so it was like people quit their jobs because of what you first said, and then you took it all back, and now these people have just kind of quit their jobs for nothing.
Look,
I'm just saying, what they should have done is added a battle pass system.
Oh god, no, shut up. You logged in and coded for 12 hours today. Here, have your free skin.
No.
You can now upload your game to stuff. With a watermark.
I-
You have to pay for the full battle pass to get it without a watermark. Just saying.
I mean, we always like pushed for Unity at art school and just as developers in general because it's free.
Yeah,
That
well,
was
that
like
was
the
the
magical
same.
part of Unity. It's freaking
It
free.
was always the same. In fact, okay, so in the universities that I went to, they did the same. They pushed for Unity because it was free, and there was already like other programs that they were using that weren't free. So I think it was just like trying to cut down on costs. They go for the free engine. But there were some other universities, like a university that a friend of mine went to that had like a games degree, but I didn't go to it because it was kind of new. And I think it did have exams, and I was like, I don't want to like do exams. And so, but like I heard that they were doing Unreal instead of Unity. And so I was jealous because my friend, like I studied with them when I was doing diploma and stuff like that. And so like we learned Unity doing the diploma, but then they got to learn Unreal in like university. But yeah, in university, a lot of them will go for the free option because it's free. But then you don't have the opportunity of learning the other really common industry engine, which is Unreal. And so you kind of like have to figure that out yourself, which to be honest, as I kind of mentioned earlier, university, their education is very like basic. Like that's what I got from it. It was very beginner level stuff, intro. So it was kind of like stuff you could have taught yourself anyways.
Yeah, it felt like if you wanted to. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, it felt like if you wanted to specialize, you just had to do it in your own time and not get taught anything properly.
Which is why, I say this all the time: don't speedrun your degree. Do not speedrun your degree. Yeah. It's not a good option. Spend the time to be a student longer, so you have the title student. You can get student payments, and you can instead of doing a bunch of classes, do like a couple classes and then spend like your free time building your portfolio, like just honing your skills. Like
unless you're already working. Like if you're already working, speedrun it, you get paid more for having a degree. I think it's like 12% at least.
Yeah, but that's if you're already working. Yeah, it's very situational, but if you're just coming out of like high school and you're doing the very linear like pathway as a lot of people do, it's like I would like ignore the standards and ignore the school standards of you must spend like 3 years in university and like plan out how you're gonna build your portfolio and specialize your skills and stuff like that to be able to like be a better candidate for like job applications later if you don't already have the job. And even start looking for like do university part-time and start also looking for jobs while you're like game dev jobs like while you're studying as well. You can do those part-time.
Yep.
That's what I would recommend.
I mean, I had to speedrun my degree because I spent 5 years in university and I went nothing. So, I had to make up for lost time. But
how long did you do your degree then for if you speedrun it? Speedrun it?
I did it in 3 years.
Okay, yeah. I think it's like 3 to 4 years average. A lot of people do 4 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Most of the people ended up doing 4 years because from when we started so I am like, what's the word from first class, like from the career. Like I was one of the first people who got into it. So. From
so
our
it's
first
kind
class,
of like that's bad in sense of if you're like it's a new degree, it means they're still workshopping it.
Well, ours was like that.
No,
like, we were near the first of the new format.
Right, but I'll give it to you this way, CC. When we were in third semester, it was like the plankton meme. Like I didn't expect to get this far. Like they didn't have the rest of the career planned.
Oh my gosh,
that's so good.
Did not have the curriculum.
The curriculum was planned out until their third semester, and I think they had like placeholders for 4th, 5th, and 6th, but when we got to third, they were reevaluating everything they were doing. So by the time I graduated, there were 3 different curricula that went through. None of them affected our curriculum because it was already done in theory, quotation marks. But it did change. So it meant that if you failed one class, you were already in a different curriculum and you had to change all of your classes.
Wow.
And it involved a lot of weird bullshit. So it was basically, you don't want to get left behind at all. And from the, let's see, from the 96 students that entered alongside me, 7 of us graduated.
Oh.
Like, finished the entire thing. Like, by the end, it was only 7 of us.
Yeah.
In the main in the degree that it started out with without any changing, because everyone else either failed or left, right?
I mean, a big
Yeah.
part of that does feel like just the way that it was set up, like the failing aspect of like, if you failed one curriculum, you were already on like a different, or failed like one class, you're already on a different curriculum. Or
Yeah,
something.
but at the same time, now that I'm teaching here, I can see like the dropout levels. And the career gets really intensive.
See,
I
that's
know that as a student and as a teacher.
to me, I find that interesting because at least for me and CZ, like I don't, maybe I'm just like naive. Correct me if I'm wrong, CZ.
Okay, I will.
But I didn't think that there was all that high of a dropout rate when we were doing the
Oh.
degree. Okay, here we go. Here I am to be corrected.
Okay, so there was a huge dropout percentage in the first and second year. You didn't do the first year, just remember that,
Oh
right?
yeah, I didn't do the first year. I skipped the first
The
year.
first year, people just stopped coming, like,
I wonder
week 3.
how many people there were in the first year now.
I literally had a class where it went from, like, 40 people to, like, 10 in first year.
Mm.
By week 5.
Wow.
Oof.
But I
that's
guess,
insane.
you know what, a lot of the time when people first join university, like, I feel like people change majors, like, really often in their first year.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
the first
Yeah.
year, people just swapped around, tried a little bit of everything, put their fingers in a lot of pots.
Let's see what
and-
you like.
And then there's me, who literally was like, no, I want these 2 degrees, fill up my whole schedule, I don't want any, like, extra classes. Like, I had no, what are they called?
Electives?
Electives. I was like, election units, no.
No.
I'm not voting. Well, yeah, I had no elective units because I had a full schedule of 2 degrees the whole way through, and I didn't drop out of any.
Yeah, you didn't
Everyone
change
would always-
at all. You went
With my
like,
other degree,
out of
we
the-
went from like 30 people in the 3rd year to like 10.
Wow, last year had 10?
Yeah,
We had
like
way more
straight
than
up.
10, and like there were multiple classes, so...
Oh yeah, but so the final one in game dev, I was really surprised because we just had basically the full class,
I wonder
and
if
then
it's
like
'cause there's
3
no
people dropped out
exams.
the whole time.
So there was no exams for us, and I feel like the minimum requirement for some of the assignments were really easy. Like I stressed myself out because I tried to like do more than necessary and have like bigger ideas for assignments that didn't necessarily look the greatest at the end because like the concept was just too big. Anyways, but yeah, I feel like the minimum requirements were not that like hard. Like one of them would be like make an app, and it's like you could have just made Flappy Bird for the phone, you know? You could have just made a Flappy Bird
Yeah.
app.
See, I made Simon
You
with
could just
pictures
make
of
Flappy
people named Simon.
Yeah, you made a one where you made something. I decided I was gonna make an app called what was it? I think it was called like Evacuation or something like that, and it was basically one where you could rotate a room, rotate a 3D room and try to like kind of shake people, like ragdoll people to like the corner of the room to try to get them through a hole or whatever. Basically ragdoll physics on a mobile app. It was not as easy as I thought it would be.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so I didn't think it through very well for that one. It's like, dude, you should have just done like an infinite runner. Like that's what I feel like I should have told myself, and then been like, make whatever game you want, like outside of class. Do the bare
Oh, but
minimum.
you've seen what
Yeah.
happens when you make an infinite runner.
I mean, to be fair, that's like the one thing that I can give like art school when we were there, and that's the fact that they standardized. Even though I disagree now because they super standardized it, but they standardized what they were looking for you to do for each project. So nobody would buy more than they could choose. So the first year was to make a simple NES anything. Like you could grab any, no, not even NES. The first year was it was Atari. You had to make either Frogger, Pong, or no, Breakout. Sorry, yeah, Breakout,
Oh,
Frogger.
Breakout.
And there were two other games that I can't remember right now.
Galaga.
Yeah, I think it was Galaga too. So they had like 3-4 games that you could pick, and the project was like, pick two of them and combine them,
Oh.
and that's your project for your first year.
See, that's kind of cool. That's
For
interesting.
first semester.
It's like
Yeah.
combining two.
And because my friend and I were insane, we combined all of them.
No.
Yeah, so that is
So it was
very
like-
much early student vibes. So
Yeah,
yeah, you
When
want
you
to
said
do like
because,
combine
I
them.
was like, he did it.
Yeah.
yeah. But like at that moment, I knew what we could do. I knew the limits of what we could do because I knew my friend was really good at programming, so I knew he could get the thing to work, and I had a plan for what we wanted to do. And what it basically ended up happening was, the teacher or like the judge for that class was, he was my mentor. Now, he was my mentor, then boss, and now just general support.
He's a bud.
He was one of the most known developers back at home, and they had released a game called Squares. So what we did was record his voice to make him the bad guy.
Oh,
And
that's
the
fun.
game was made with like squares and I replicated every single tile that they had for the game into ours, and it was basically like a WarioWare type of thing where like you were playing Frogger and then he would switch you to something else, and then you had to play that, and then he would switch you something else, and every time you succeeded and without dying, you would damage the big cube that was the boss, and if you managed to beat the games, eventually you won. And we made the project and it worked. It was dumb because we had to redo it twice, but
Why?
it worked because this is how we learned that you make backups, people. You make backups.
No.
Backups. We had the game on my friend's laptop, and we had it on a USB stick, and we had it on a different USB stick. My USB stick got lost. My
Wasn't even
my
that it got
friend's
corrupted.
laptop.
Ugh.
my friend's laptop got water dropped on it, and it died.
No, wait, you
And
had
then-
2 backups and you lost them both?
No,
And the
there's a
third
third.
flash
Oh, the
drive,
third flash drive.
my friend washed his pants with the flash
No,
drive in his
how
pocket.
did you do all 3 of them? At the same
At that
time?
point, the
or-
teacher's like, "You just didn't do it, did you?" And
Wait,
they're
wait,
like,
wait.
"No."
Did you do it? Did it all happen at the same time, or was it like over the semester, like you kept like losing one after the other, and you just didn't make new replacements?
It happened over, but we never really noticed until we needed a backup.
Oh, okay.
And by the
So
time the
sad.
last backup was lost, we were 2 weeks away
Oh.
from presentation.
That's when
So
you know
we
the true
crunched,
pain
but
of
since-
university
Since
life.
we already had done it, it was faster. But still,
Yeah,
it was
still.
2 weeks of just like crunching as like first year students. It was dumb.
Yeah. Damn.
But the point I was trying to make is that we had a specific set of things that we could grab from. And then like the second semester, third semester were like NES things. And then fourth semester was an Infinite Runner. And then the fifth and sixth semester, no, third semester was an Infinite Runner. Fourth semester was a game, what should we call it? Not a demo, but a slice, a concept, a proof of concept. There we go.
Yeah.
God, I forget
Oh,
the
yeah,
word
yeah, yeah.
sometimes. And then fifth and sixth semester, where like you would develop that proof of concept into a playable game.
Yeah.
So everybody had like a concept that they could work on based on something, so you wouldn't go off the rails, so that you wouldn't have students be like, I want my first project to be GTA 5, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot
being
of
said-
universities have that for their last like semester slash like last year. Is like
Mm.
conceptualize a game and then make it and then showcase it.
Which was fun. It was a fun part of the whole degree. It was the only time that we actually made games.
I hated fifth and
Games in
sixth
other one?
semester so bad.
I hated my last
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
I mean, like, no, I liked my last year and I hated it. I was super stressed the whole time. A lot of I did something dumb and then had to basically live with the consequences of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And that's
I
why we're
realized
friends.
yeah, that's why we're friends actually, that's true. And then I realized that I wanted to do game development, not animation.
Yep, that's
the
fair.
third year. That was my third year.
Yeah, no,
Mistakes and realizations. At the last minute.
I mean, I feel like our third year, like as much as I hated like fourth and fifth semester, I think it was great because it really dawned on us how hardcore game development really gets. Because
Yeah,
we
that's
had
true.
one of the best production teachers, and by that I mean he was a hard ass. Like he really wanted us to make a good project, and he made damn sure we were doing a good project. And he would yell at us. He would, well, not yell like evil, but like, guys, wake the fuck up. We are X amount of time away and you're missing this and this and this. Where is this? Why didn't you take the time? He was like, you know, really getting us in line to
That sounds
understand
like a really
how
good like
crunch was.
peer. Especially
Yeah,
for like third
but-
years.
Right. But the reason I hated it was because remember how I said that fourth semester was you present a proof of concept,
Mhm.
and then on fifth and sixth you develop that proof of concept into a playable alpha slice, whatever, a small
yeah.
pocket project.
A demo,
So
but not a demo.
Legally not a demo. For fourth semester, we were so little people that we were divided into basically two teams, and each team developed a proof of concept, and then each team presented it to the panel of judges/teachers, and they would pick the one that would be developed over fifth and sixth year. My team, which put me on the lead, our proof of concept or idea for project was to make a small party game. We called
Uh-huh.
it Small Ball because the whole point was that you had a ball. It was basically like hardcore hot potato. You had a ball that would explode.
Mhm.
So the point of the game was you had to throw it between people and try to avoid it using bounces and the walls and whatever to try to eliminate everyone else. And that was the whole point. That was the whole presentation. It was a very simple concept of like you have these characters. Each character has a special ability, which was a single thing that they could do, nothing else special. Just keep it clean, simple. One special thing they could do, and you have the ball, and you have like 5 or 6 levels. The other team presented a adventure game, Dark Souls type, where you were
Oh,
playing
wow.
a guy trying to a
That's
girl trying to rescue
too
her
big.
boyfriend to save from the dragon, and it was like a 5-level adventure game with like stamina and it was a massive fucking thing. There was no way we were gonna fucking do it in 1 year.
Mm-mm.
But when I quote the teachers, it was ambitious, and therefore they chose that to do. And the other team won, and obviously the lead, like the role of the lead team or the producer or director, what you want to call it, fell into that guy for the next year.
Mm-mm.
Problem is, that guy failed a couple of classes, so he had to be held back. And since we already picked that project, well, the judges picked that project on 5th and 6th semester, we had to work on that project without the guy who came up with the project, and they put me in charge of it. So
Mm.
now I had to take this game that was impossible to fucking make, work with a team that wasn't sure what the direction was because the guy who came up with it was like an author type of guy.
Mhm.
So I had no idea what exactly he had in mind for it. And we had to turn that into a presentable and completed work by the end of the year.
But I feel like that was still a better option than having that guy take the lead. Because, like, clearly he was too ambitious. Like, you are then put in a position where you are able to take that idea and potentially downscale it while still trying to keep the concept, I guess. It's still awkward because it wasn't your idea and you
Yeah,
don't know
it-
the original vision.
Yeah, it was
But at least you can make
it was
more
a whole
realistic.
experience. Like, it was really annoying, it was hard, but I can't say that we finished it. We had one made level that was polished enough to be presented, another one that was halfway done, and the other one was just white blocked. We didn't finish the project, but for all intents and purposes, we should have failed. Like, we should have been failed. But the amount of work that was put in and the experience that was put in, kind of like what we managed to present showed that we knew what the fuck we were doing, and we could have completed it if we had more time. But we definitely did not have more time.
I mean,
and it shows. At the end of the day.
Your peers, your lecturers, teachers, or whatever should have been able to see it, that it was a project that was too big to be able to complete within the time span anyways. And would have
by the
just
time
graded
we
you.
got to that point. Yeah, by the time we got to that, but we presented it not to like our teachers, but we presented to like
The people.
to like developers that are already working in the country, like people
Oh,
that make
okay.
projects.
We didn't do
So
that.
we managed to like we had press. I hate it.
We had, I think we
Oh,
might have had
Jesus
like
Christ.
1 or 2 people like come that were from like developers from, like
From the one studio here.
the one studio here, but it really like, it was not like much people, and like I don't think anybody like got scouted from that. Anyways, but I wouldn't have, well, like from what I know now about the one studio, like here, I wouldn't have liked to have gone there. I've worked there.
That's fair.
I mean, I wouldn't have minded like a year.
Yeah,
Put it on the
I guess a
resume.
year, but like I think from that year I would have like figured out that it was not a great place to work at from what the rumors about it.
Oof.
Yeah,
feel you
from
on
multiple
that one.
people who have worked there that I like happen to know and been like, okay, yeah, see that the person who leads this company is a little stupid. So yeah, but yeah, like I think it's still cool that you got to like be able to like pitch it to a bunch of, or at least a handful maybe of, developers in your country,
Yeah.
even if it was
like,
an unfinished project.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was a great experience. It taught us a lot. It really put in perspective, like, how much work does it really have to go to even make, like, a single level that's
Yeah.
workable and presentable. And even then, I think I showed you once, like, I look back at it and it's like, God, this is... I would never want to do this. There's so many things here that I wouldn't have put into the system.
Have I played that game?
I think I maybe played, like...
I think
the-
I played it.
I think you showed it to us once.
Or at least I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was...
I just had like a brain blast, just like,
like a brain...
oh my
I
gosh.
remember, yeah, 'cause I
I
think
remember
at least
it.
you having like opened the file and like screenshot it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely agree that third year really puts it into perspective, like what you're going into, especially if you were to go to an indie dev studio, because indie dev studio is about the same size as your last project was, the same amount of people, a kind of a small handful of people making a game, and that is the kind of crunch you're going to be looking at. And I have no idea how. I don't understand how I went through that and saw the stress and was like, I want to do this. It's like, this seems like something I'd like.
That's true.
Like, I had
It's
like,
cool. I want to suffer too.
yeah, I stressed myself out so much in that last year. I had like multiple like breakdowns with like trying to get all my assignments going with the main project from like,
I'm surprised we're friends.
I know, I was not the greatest person to in the group project. I don't understand why people are still my friends from that group project, cause yeah, I was not great. And yeah, I don't get how I was like, yeah, I should make this into a job. Like this is torture a bit, I could do it again.
You're a masochist.
That's what,
Basically just admitting it
I
live
know,
on air.
that's basically what I'm admitting. Well, that's the thing that I was like, it doesn't add up. Like, that's the math doesn't check out to me. To be like, you went through so much. I don't know what was the turning point. Like, I have no idea what the turning point was. Where was the moment where I was like, I should be a game dev? Oh, I just know that it happened in the third year. Somewhere in there. It was all a bit of a blur. Traumatic blur.
That's fair. I mean,
Is it?
Yeah.
we wouldn't really go into this if we really didn't expect like, hey, there's something worthwhile out of this, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Look,
maybe just deliver the project or whatever it is. Like,
yeah, there's a fine line between being a game developer and being a psychopath.
Yeah. I know we were joking about me admitting that I'm a masochist straight up on stream, but like, isn't that the ongoing joke with like game developers, even programmers, where it's just like they're just masochists. They're just professional masochists. They're masochists getting paid for it.
And it's really funny because that's actually written in my notes, like exactly what I just said.
What professional masochists?
I was like, look, I put down, like think of like a GDC talk, and I'd be like, well, I would say something like, there's a fine line between being a game dev and being a psychopath, and that's what I would talk about.
I mean, we used to joke that everybody that was in the game development career at art school had to be on the spectrum, or like had to have that some mental thing going for you to be willing to go through all of this fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Because compared to like even animation, the dropout rate is insane. It's just absolutely insane.
I think I'd react the same way I reacted to CZ when I kind of first met him and I first started socializing with him in the group project. Because, you know, I had to. Wasn't an option to walk away from that. But I think if I met another game developer who is... quote unquote, mentally stable, I would be really...
Don't exist.
Well, that's the
Okay.
thing is, I was super skeptical of CZ because I hadn't met somebody so extroverted before.
I was just a happy guy.
No, you were, but like I'm not used to that. I wasn't used to that, so I was really confused. Like something's wrong here. Like something's gotta give. So nobody's this happy.
The
world hit T early. What was it?
There's something that has to be behind that smile.
There wasn't. There was nothing.
I was like-
Head empty.
Yeah, so I feel like I would react the same way if I met like a healthy, happy-go-lucky game developer, and I'm like, something's wrong here. Are they like just the face of the business, like of the company, of the studio, but like they don't actually work at the studio? Like, what's happening here?
Well, I mean, it depends a lot on the position. Like, all positions have a lot of struggle, but like the people who are in the trenches, like the programmers and like animators, they
I don't
are the
know,
most
even like
overworked,
people in like management positions, like producers, you know, they still have to, you know, they have to manage people, they have to move schedules around, they have to plan stuff. I still feel like that is like stressful.
Yeah,
and,
no,
like,
it definitely is stressful, but like compare that to having to be working like overtime a lot of time. Like this is not me just
I'm not comparing
ranting shit,
like
it's just like, you know,
I'm
actual,
just saying, yeah, I'm just saying that
reports.
I still feel like even producers should be mentally unstable.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm like, I don't think you have the most stressful aspect in this studio, but I don't think you have a stress-free enough position that you're allowed to be mentally stable.
I think
Yeah,
the
yeah,
only one that needs to be mentally stable is the person directly speaking to the public.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You
Like,
can fake stuff. You
you
can
should
fake
be
that. I feel like you can fake
Because-
that and still be mentally unstable. Look, there's plenty of content creators that are mentally unstable. And they talk to the public.
Looks at No Man's Sky.
True.
So,
But yeah,
Oh.
no,
still,
uh,
it's a myth.
it's hard.
Oh yeah.
It is.
I think it's possible, but it's like really hard to be like not constantly pressured by the work that you're doing at all freaking times.
Which is why I
Like,
don't
just
think
keeping
that
it
a happy
stable.
developer exists. They're a legend, a myth. And I will be convinced that there is something wrong with them for the first several months that I know it. Until
I mean, I have a
proven
lot of
otherwise.
fun working on design
Yeah.
until I have to like start like compressing things due to X reasons.
Yeah. But you I'm like not necessarily talking because of a job, but just in general. Like if I met somebody who was mentally stable and they had the job as a game developer, I'm like, that doesn't.
That does it up.
The math doesn't check out. Like this plus
the math
this does not equal this.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. But I'm also like a massive pessimist, so what do I know?
Wait. So wait, what would your GDC talk be about then?
Oh, that was the question?
I mean, it went into it.
We went into it and then I got distracted. I don't know, Inti, what would your GDC?
Yeah, indeed. I mean, it's not like you're a teacher already or anything.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think like the biggest topic that you know what? My topic would be ask fucking questions. Dear God.
That's the title.
That's
Dear
the
God.
title. Ask fucking questions.
Would it be like-
and then the subtitle, Dear God.
Would it be like why you ask questions, or would it be like how to ask the right questions kind of thing?
It would be both. So here's the thing that I've noticed after teaching for like 3-4 years now, give or take. It's that a lot of people do not ask questions about what they want to know or what they want to do. And it sounds crazy, but like the amount of time students have rather hold their questions back instead of trying to
That's super
figure
common.
out something is so insane. And you wouldn't really think about this until you start actually teaching and being like, okay, I've explained this topic. And I'm not going to say like I'm the best freaking teacher ever, like triple A fucking teacher, but like I have worked a lot to dumb down, no, it's not the right word, but like to break down the lessons and like the things that I'm teaching so they would be digestible, understandable. And there's still a lot of students who will not understand it and not ask questions about it. And it's a habit that it's so hard to break.
I mean, that was like a
on anybody.
big thing for me when I was in like university. Like, and even like when I first started doing my like diploma, like one of the big things that I really liked was that my peers in this specific subject and major and everything like that, in this study, were ones that I felt comfortable asking questions to. Whereas like I would prefer not to ask a question if I was in the classroom, like back in like high school and stuff like that. It's super common for students to not understand something but not be able to ask a question. Like, and even if they can ask a question, they'll try to do it like when you're alone, or like when you're going somewhere, or like in an email. Like they won't do it too directly in the moment because like, you know, they might be anxious, they might not want to ask it in front of a bunch of people, they might be concerned that it might be a dumb question. Like that's a lot of that kind of thing. But the questions need to be asked.
Yeah, no, this is something that, for example, is being mentioned in the chat here. Like, we don't want to be the dumb ones, but like, it's not about being the dumb one. This is something that's really hard to get out of our systems. It's like, and I don't remember who said this to me. They were like, it's better for you to sound dumb for 5 minutes than to work like an idiot for 5 hours.
Oh yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I had somebody say something similar to me. Not as inspiring as that, but it's just somebody who, you know, they had experienced the whole like I don't want to like be the dumb person, you know, asking the dumb question or whatever. But it was like they came to the realization that they was like, I don't care how dumb my question is. If I don't fully understand what I'm doing, I'm gonna like let this person down or whatever. It was like a big thing for them. Is like, I'm gonna be able to do a better job, and I'm more likely to get the job done if I ask every question that I want to ask. Like, and I don't care if they get mad at me because this is a question, like this is an answer I need to know. And
Right.
it is really hard to break from the mindset.
Yeah, it's super hard, and I didn't know that because I can see it from the students, and the students that have gone through me that had finally gotten that part down. They usually, and I had this because I teach. Well, I used to teach. I think this is my last. Due to, you know, art school going back to physical and me no longer being in the country, I don't think I'm gonna be teaching anymore.
What do you mean?
But like, I teach students for first semester, third semester, and then I usually am in the panel of judges for like fifth or sixth semester, right? So I see a lot of my students that I taught once, I see them way later down the line. And a lot of the students that I see that are still in the career are the students that ask questions, that learned to ask questions even. Because at the end of the day, and this is something you just mentioned, like, how are you going to have clear what you need to do if you're not going to ask any questions, if you don't know how it's going to go? And right now, like, anything that has to be, let me put this in like a simple way to like talk about. Have you heard that thing where like somebody tells you, sell me this pen?
Yeah.
They
How would
do
you
it at
sell
like
a pen?
business meetings.
Right, they do it a lot of times. But the point of that entire thing, and this is something that's very interesting, is how do you start with that? How do you start with selling a pen? Right? Like, usually what people do is, this pen can do this and that, and it's a wonderful pen, and you should buy it. But if that pen does not suit my needs, why would I give a shit about the pen?
Exactly.
Right? So like the best way to sell something, like to sell the pen, is like, hey, how's it going? Tell me, how long have you been looking for a pen? What kind of pen are you trying to find? Well, this pen accommodates to those needs. This pen can last X amount of years, and this pen can do this, and you start asking questions about what people are looking for, and then you start selling the pen around it. It's very similar to that when you're doing any kind of work project with other people. Because, okay, let's say I am the director, designer, whatever, and like, okay, the game we're making is going to be a platformer. Okay, but what kind of platformer? Are we talking Mario platformer? Are we talking Sonic platformer? Are we talking Bubsy 3D platformer? Like, what is exactly that we're looking for? And once you start figuring out that you can ask questions, and you should be asking questions about what the direction of the project is, what kind of thing you're looking for, when you're asking for references, when you're asking for clarifications, suddenly you start getting more of a better sense of what you're trying to get into, what you're trying to work on. And if everybody starts getting on the same page on what they're working on, it's going to be better. Granted, that's why we have like game design documents and game bibles for, but at the end of the day, that info comes from the questions that people ask, or rather the designer maybe ask themselves when they're writing that document. And it's such a hard thing to like get into, of like asking and asking and asking, and not being like, a kid like, the sky is blue. Oh, why is it blue? Because it reflects the color of the ocean. And why does it reflect the color of the ocean? Because why does it? And why? That's a different kind of question asking, right?
Yeah, that's like curiosity. This is like defining, right?
Yeah, like we want to find exactly what we're looking at, how we're gonna get there, and what we're looking for with that thing, right? So, I guess that would be like my GC talk. I've just tried to think and compile every single question that hasn't been asked or has been asked while working on projects with different people. And it's like, a lot of things could have gone so much faster. Like somebody asked, hey, how fast are they going to move? Okay, I know you said you wanted to go fast, but like, do you want to go like acceleration wise? Do you want it to go from the get-go, top speed? What are we looking at here, right?
I think my GDC talk would be how to buy a duck.
How to buy a duck.
Yeah.
So it was just like this, like really nice, like sincere, like serious. I want to buy a duck.
No, okay. In my defense.
No, but I want to buy a duck. Tell me how I would.
Yeah.
Go
My conversation would be how to buy a duck, and then the whole talk in depth would be like not about the game Duck Dating Sim right now, but it would be specifically about like why you need, like, why the rubber ducky method is so important and stuff, and why you should do it and why you need to do it and all that kind of stuff. And I would just have like that clickbaity title of like, you need a duck, I can get you a duck.
Like, Inti, you know about the rubber duck method, right?
Maybe I've heard of it, but like I don't recognize
it probably
the
has a
name.
different name. It's basically like you don't need someone to like answer the questions for you when you're doing like coding and stuff, right? You just need a wall to talk aloud.
It doesn't necessarily always
Yeah.
apply to like coding though. It can apply for design and like writing and sometimes as well. So I think that it's like, that's why I'm like, I would suggest it as like a thing that people should do, because like having that, like, it's kind of a different perspective in our taking a different perspective, trying to explain what you're trying to do, and then in the process like explaining your problem, which gets that gets you in a different mindset, and it gets you to ask like the right questions that you didn't really think of before.
God, there's a word for it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the way that we were taught it, at least, was like, get a rubber duck and just talk to the duck.
Did we even get taught that, or was it just like suggested? You know what I mean?
I think we were told about like the origin of it from our professor's standpoint.
Yeah, it was like, I think, a one-off thing. Like,
and
it was
then
mentioned.
you just took that to heart.
I don't know. I don't know if I actually took it to heart at the time, or if I just kind of like I took it and then I kind of like saved it for later, and then like later another time when it was like mentioned, it was like, oh yeah, this has been talked to me about it, and then I started like kind of like I started doing it a little bit now, and then realized how like actually effective it was, because I think I started doing it initially without realizing it, and then started doing it like actively after like looking into it a bit more. Because I don't think it was the first time it was mentioned that I actually started doing it. I think it was like later on. And then I was like, oh, this is actually like something I should be doing all the time. Because it's just like a great like problem solving thing. That's like really helpful.
Yeah, but then when you're alone in a room talking to yourself all day, people are like,
Okay, look. It's actually a super healthy thing. There's a word for talking to yourself. I think it's called, I don't know if this is the right phrase, but one of the things, this is not the right phrase, but one of the things that it's called is, at least part of it is like talk therapy. It's like a type of talking, I guess, to yourself, where you talk about like basically how you feel, and it's like doing therapy with yourself, where you talk to yourself. So whenever people judge me for talking to myself, and I make jokes about being a crazy person to talk to yourself, but it's actually super healthy. It's like super healthy to do, and I encourage other people to do it. And like it's no matter what form it's in, whether it's rubber ducking by yourself, or thinking about your unstable mind and talking about that.
I thought you were gonna say, or with a friend.
Or with a friend. Look, okay, yes, I've been in a call with other people and I've talked to myself while in the call. I understand that. I mean,
asking yourself rhetorical questions is something I do a lot. So I get it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh, you get it now, but
no, I get it.
Making fun of me.
I get it. I just thought it would be funnier to make fun of you a little bit.
You know, it reminds me. It reminds me a bit of what do they call it? Power posing. You know, where like you go into a mirror and you do the Superman pose, and that like psychologically gives you confidence.
Yeah. Or like you smile. Same thing.
Yeah, or smile like.
Or like you stand up straight, and it's like kind of the Superman pose, but you like posture your head up and you do the chin up.
It's the thought equivalent of power posing, where you're like, okay, this is my issue. How do I solve it? Talk to me, duck.
Yeah.
And you just stare into its empty eyes.
It's like, wah.
Well, the point isn't for the duck to talk to you, but if you talk to the duck,
yeah,
you gotta.
Yeah. No,
It's a give and take. The duck will give you back, the solution. Kind of like. Yeah, so you gotta give the duck the info, and then magically you'll get the answer, because the duck will give it to you. That's how it works.
Yeah, exactly. That's
how it works.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, like the psychological process of like oh god, there's a word for it in English and I just can't find it, but like re-perspectivizing the problem, like looking at it again from zero. And this is something that's actually, it's one of the reasons why I always go back to like my first year lessons. Like when you start looking at the basics again, it's super helpful to problem solve in future. Yeah,
because it's like those are the fundamentals.
Yeah, you go back to them and it starts like, oh wait, okay, fundamentals say this. How do I extrapolate that to this big problem? Okay, let's break it down. And it's like, it starts working its way around.
Which is...
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. That's why, so I always find it good, because when you're, especially if you have to, like, let's say you're talking to a rubber duck. Because remember, the rubber duck doesn't know anything about, like, game dev. You have to break it down, like, a lot. Like, your problem. If it's game dev related. Anyway, so that would be...
in general.
Go on.
No, I'm just saying in general, like breaking down problems by talking out loud or talking with somebody else, even if they don't have the same. Like, my roommate worked in. Well, I'm not gonna like dox them or anything, but the position they work in requires them to work with a lot of people, like as a people manager, team manager, and it's completely different from what I do and what I usually do. But they're like, I have this problem, I'm trying to solve it. Okay, tell me about it. And basically they spitballed, or they broke it down. We started just spitballing, and even with like the limited knowledge that I have for their field, I could offer like, okay, this is how me, outside of your expertise group, outside of your this is how I understand it. Am I correct? And they were like, yeah. Okay, so how my mind, once again, with no knowledge of this, says we could solve it is this. And they're like, you know what? That sounds reasonable. We can do this out of that and this and this. And like, after just talking for like a couple minutes, even with an outsider's perspective, but just with the most simple basic knowledge, when you start breaking it down, it just suddenly just fits it perfectly for you. So I think like, even if it's a different thing or it's not like a game dev problem, I think it's just a wonderful recommendation to just spitball and break down your problems to yourself or like to somebody who doesn't know anything about it.
Exactly, and this is why everybody needs a duck.
Or a good friend.
That's fair.
Or a duck. Who needs friends when you can have ducks? Did ducks stop you from seeing celebrities that happen to pop by your house? No.
Okay, you listen here. No. But
Okay.
anyway, I'm just gonna change the question now.
Wait a second. Did you
Okay.
answer? I can't remember. Didn't you answer
What?
your GDC?
My GDC,
Oh,
my
the how
GDC
to
was
talk
the
to, not how to talk to psychopaths.
no. It was gamed. Well, my one specifically says playtesting and bug finding is the fine line between player and psychopath.
Oh yes.
Because I do dumb stuff where I'm just walking into a wall for hours in games when I'm playing and I find bugs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, not hours, but like a lot.
Players are annoying. Okay, don't judge us.
Like no matter what game I'm playing, I've found a bug. Like even in AAA freaking titles, there's always something to find.
Just saying, why were you walking into a wall in the first place? It's a wall. You don't go through
Well,
it.
the player will do that.
Yep.
I know. I'm just being the annoying game dev that's like, please don't find bugs in my game, thank you.
But like
No,
I'm just
it's the
good.
opposite. Please
Yeah,
find
I'm just
bugs.
I'm just very good at finding the bugs. So I'll just
Depending on the stage of the game's at, I'm like, no.
Like-
It's I know it needs to happen. I just wish there wasn't as many bugs.
it's a huge part, and like early on in that one game that I playtested for a while ago's like development, like I was the only one who found a weird way where you would just sift through the floor, like you just turned off gravity and like turned off all boundaries and just went under and finished the game in like 0.5 seconds by accident. How? I don't know, but I was recording and that was enough for them.
Skill. Gamer skill.
And like they were picked up by the company that made Worms, so it was pretty good.
Ooh.
But like,
Man, I haven't played Worms in like years.
oh man, Worms is I've got a fine line with Worms. It makes me angry unless I'm winning.
Oh, okay. I see how it is.
If I'm losing, other people are using too much bullshit, you know?
Yeah. Other people.
I'm just here using the rocket launcher. You're out here using the super sheep. That's not cool. so Inti and T.
The T's over here.
So T, what do you think shoutcasting is, T, first?
Oh my god.
Wait, what? So yeah.
What is shoutcasting? What do you think that is?
When you
Yeah, T, what do you
scream
think
and
shoutcasting
shout while you're throwing out your line in the lake. You're casting your line, you're screaming out, fishy, 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 coming by my line. Come take a little nibble. Ah, this is like my fishing war cry. Shoutcasting. That's what it is.
So can you explain shoutcasting to this?
And if you say it's something other than fishing and screaming, I will be very surprised.
And can you tell me how you got into doing it? Because
well, I was playing Skyrim and I thought it was really cool how they shouted and things happened, so I just started to do that.
Did you do it? Did you do it while fishing? Yeah. Shouting
Used
while.
to fish. Just go full throw that and just the fucking fish just fly out of the lake. Well, shoutcasting is basically narration for. It's basically the equivalent of like football narration, but for video games. That's the best way I can put it. I don't know why we use the word shoutcasting.
Yeah, that makes
Probably
sense.
because people scream a lot,
yeah.
right? But yeah, it's basically football narration for video games. As to how I got into it, oh my god. It was in, I want to say 2019, no, 2018, I think. Early 2018. So after I graduated from art school for game development, I started working at a TV station for a bit. And during my time was the TV station, I was also doing teaching for art school. Like half a year after I graduated, I started teaching there. Which I don't know if it says a lot about the level of the art school or me. But the point is,
We'll go with you or the pro.
yeah, I started teaching there like half a year later, and during the end of the year, during which is summer for us, right? December. My brain shut off for a second. December, January, and February are like summer for us back at home. So during that time, there's summer school, and I was asked by art school to teach one of the summer classes. And while I was doing those classes, I had two people in my class who were like way older than everybody else, and it turns out they were working for a startup esports company. And they were like, "Hey, class is great. You know a lot about games. Would you mind working with us for like writing and stuff for games?" And I was like, oh, "Okay, sure. I'll take it." And that eventually became like the company started working at after a bit, like full time. I left the job. And during one of the events that we organized, it was a Tekken tournament. But the thing about it was that it was our first event ever organized, like physical event.
Yeah.
And the person who was supposed to shoutcast the matches didn't get the time right, and he was going to be like an hour late.
Oh.
So they needed somebody to hold it. I was like, well, I've never done it, but I think I know enough about the game to be able to tell what's going on. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll try it. And they had me cast for like an hour or so. And even though I had not much technical knowledge,
Yeah.
like the combos and everything, people found it entertaining. And so each event I would always come back shoutcasting, and I would have like somebody who actually knew the game with me. But like we would do like, what they call the color commentary, when you just go and talk about what's going on, and then the play-by-play breakdown with the other guy who knew what was going on. And that's how I started doing shoutcasting. And I started with Tekken and then moved to also doing Street Fighter. I've done Valorant recently. I did League of Legends for like a college tournament once, I remember. Yeah, it's pretty much a thing that I do every now and then.
That's cool as hell. I was hoping that was a good story about it, but damn.
I love the casual, like, one off, and then it just kept coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, people like
He's a crowd favorite.
the community. And back at home, I guess they don't really expect you to be like super specific about what's going on. They don't care so much about the breakdown because they know the breakdown. Because the people, at least back at home, Tekken, they play, like, the people who play Tekken back at home. Those guys have like, they've been playing since like 1998. You know, like,
That's when I was born.
yeah. like, oh my god. Okay, hold on. I need to check. When did Tekken Tag Tournament come out?
Oh, tag tournament?
1999.
Yeah.
There we go. So they played a lot of Tekken Tag back at home, and eventually, Tekken 3, yada yada yada. Or rather, they played Tekken 3 and then Tekken Tag and blah blah. And the cabinets that they had were a lot of Tekken Tag. So like people have been playing Tekken for since like 1998 at the very least. So they've been playing for a while now. And when you play that long, you just know the game. You know like what's a basic string, what the fuck is unblockable. You know exactly what the classic Mishima combo is. Like they know it. So they're not watching to learn. They don't care about you knowing the names. They just watch to get hyped and to see how people play.
Yeah, so you're like that guy in the back, the hype man, the hip hop.
Yeah, exactly. So
Like,
I was
yeah!
casting just as a hype man. I was like, oh my god, he's in the air, he's getting juggled, he's getting carried to the corner. And like they know what it is. They don't need me to break it down. They're just hyped alongside when they see
Dude,
it
that's-
because they know the game.
That's awesome.
I mean, people just enjoy it when you have someone who's like really reactive and like you get excited with them. Like normally you wouldn't be this excited, but this other dude is going ham. And some reason it feels just as exciting. Even if you've seen this move like 50 times before, somehow it's better this time. It looks
Right.
cooler because somebody's screaming that it is really cool.
Exactly.
I mean,
And
it's
that's
like,
why
that
what
looked cool.
esports
No
is
idea what
fun.
happened, but it's like you don't even have to. It's like that thing they say where like if you walk into a place with a ladder and fully confident they will let you just in anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what shoutcasting is. Like as long as you don't even have to give name specifics. You don't have to name the combos. You just have to say shit like you know what's going
Yeah.
on.
You have to walk in like you know what's
Like-
going on, but like you don't actually have to know what's going on.
Exactly. And eventually, I mean, once you start getting into it once, twice, 3 times, you're gonna start learning.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I learned a lot about Tekken by just watching it, and eventually I had to play it and whatever. And I learned a lot more, so now I could break it down a little bit more. But I'm nowhere at the level of like people who have been playing for like years now. I couldn't tell you because people can't. I couldn't tell you like what moves are plus or negative on block or whatever. But I can tell what's going on and I can find my way through. So it helps nowadays, even though I haven't casted Tekken for like a while now.
Yeah.
Um,
But you're casting other stuff.
yeah.
You've moved
Valorant
on to-
recently.
Yeah, bigger, better opportunities.
I wouldn't say bigger, but it was definitely a great opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, look, you say that just so like you don't feel bad about moving on.
I mean, it's always nice to appreciate what happened before. Like, is it like I hosted and casted for like the finals of the Peruvian Mortal Kombat 11 South American League, whatever. I think that's
Jeez.
like the biggest thing I've casted in my life.
I mean, that's
I was
cool as
really
heck.
happy for that.
That's pretty impressive, man. Not like
Yeah.
it's what it feels like. The way you phrase it is like it's just a small thing, like a casual flex, and it's like, everybody else in the room extremely intimidated.
I mean, I've been told I do that a lot. I just play myself down, but it's like I really like to see it in perspective of like, hey, sure, I did this, but like you look at people casting like the world tournaments and stuff like that. If you told me you casted CEO, I'd be like, holy shit, that's amazing. Like that's on a whole different level.
Yeah, but look, even here, you're lighting up the room. Look at that. You've got fire on your head. Like,
I mean, yeah, this
it's
guy's
really
hotter than
crazy
either
and
of
awesome.
us.
yeah. I mean, Inti's a hot guy. Look.
Literally on fire. Help.
Um,
Speaking of hotness,
wow. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you the question that I've asked everyone.
Mhm.
He knows what it is.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's what was the most recent game character that you've been attracted to?
Oh.
Because I think
Oh
good
my-
design deserves to be pointed out every time we do this.
I didn't
Oh my
realize
good
it was the most
lord.
recent. I thought it was like first game crush. No, it's
I mean,
recent
it
game
started
crush.
with that one.
Most recent. We know you're still.
I mean, you
got
can talk about your
crushes.
first game crush as well if you want.
We know you're still into the new stuff. You can't deny it.
Most recent design that I really like. God, I'm fucking thinking about
Because like,
that one.
let me just say, for me, right? I've been playing Death Must Die. Death Must Die is a really cool game, right?
Uh-huh.
But like every now and it's like imagine, Vampire Survivors, right? Like it's just like basic, like it's cool gameplay, like cool core gameplay. It's basic in that sense, but like it's got like these big character pixel portraits done, and like they made them too sexy. They made them too sexy. So it's like summer, winter, they're too sexy. And like the freaking electric dude, he's too hot. This game.
This shouldn't
When
be
you said
allowed.
Death Must Die. I immediately thought of Let It Die. I was like, I don't remember that game having like hot characters.
No, Death May Die, must die. It's like it's like seeing Hades, like that kind of art, just like hot character, you know.
Right, yeah, no, I get
So
you.
that would be my one. I would say either summer or winter, or even Mort. Mort's cool.
Hottest character. I'm trying to because it's the kind of thing where like it's gonna sound super pick me. God, it sounds so pick me, but I don't usually get like, oh my god, the character's so hot. Oh my god, I just want to bang you.
No, you just go, wow, that's a well-designed character. That's it.
Like
That's all you need.
I like how you look. I like your cut, G.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So it's kind of a little bit hard to think about it.
it's okay. My answers are always really basic for this one.
Like what?
Like
Yeah, go on, T.
No, we already like know a lot of the answers. So I think the top ones off the top of my head, because I don't play games very often. I'm ashamed as a game developer. I'm not much of a gamer. But like, you know, my go-to is always like Damien from Monster Prom. I actually do like Hades, the character from the Hades game, but I haven't actually played Hades, so I don't feel like I can officially say that. Since I haven't seen as much of the content. I feel like I'll probably get some kind of game crush from Stray Gods, but I haven't gotten very far into it, so I can't say who it is yet. But yeah, so my go-to is usually like Damien from Monster Prom, which is kind of basic. It's kind of basic. I hear it. I know it.
Monster Prom ain't a normie game according to chat.
Look, I'm just saying, I played I'm on Observation Duty 6 recently, and they added the big man back. Ooh, that guy.
That guy can get some.
I'm gonna throw you off the fucking window. Well, I mean, if it's like design I really like recently, or rather the character, it would have to be like Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh.
Yeah, I got really hooked onto the character.
I
feel
mean,
That
like,
would be like the latest.
yeah, I feel like that's like we haven't had too many answers from Baldur's Gate, but I feel like that one probably hits home for like a lot of people, considering how many people are playing Baldur's Gate.
I mean, Baldur's Gate has to win Game of the Year.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, I'm gonna riot because it's such a good game.
Like,
And, like,
there's no
you know,
game that even
That
came
like
close.
rivals it, yeah. Kills from Hooked on You. People are asking me about that. Players for I mean, don't get me wrong, I do quite like the Spirit from Hooked on You, but I still think Damien tops him. But yeah.
Wait, in one
He's
way?
doing what?
He's topping
In
him.
one way?
No, Damien could not top Spirit. Spirit's like more of a dom, so I don't think. Although actually Damien's kind of almost characterized as a bit of a bottom at times, so maybe Spirit's topping Damien.
I did not expect that conversation.
Look, we're
You know,
talking
we'll-
about game crushes. So
we'll do that.
And I'm here,
Do
so
that question at the end.
You know who got a recent really good a very very good update, Morgana for Legends of Runeterra.
Oh, wait,
just
yeah.
She looks so good.
Yeah, I agree.
Wait, let me quickly, because I haven't seen what the Legends of Runeterra Has done
The
to
new set,
Morgana.
Yeah, they just revealed her like today morning, I think.
Wait, really? Ooh, let me have a look. Let me have a look. It's
Let me have a
Look
little
at this.
see of this.
Oh, she fine as hell.
Yeah, she fine.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm still a Riven guy when it comes to League of Legends.
Uh-huh.
Like, and like the best character is Trist, but like not in that way.
Although if you want like, if it ask me like specifically the lead character that have been like the most awooga, it has to be Samira. Like the
Oh,
moment
dude.
she was released, I was like, Jesus Christ, I can't
Dude,
play
she's-
this game anymore.
She's just like bounty hunter, like abs,
God.
and like
Oof.
even oh my god.
That's
Even just
all I
walking
can say
around,
is just oof.
D's like, I don't know what a League of Legend is.
I don't know what a League of Legends.
What is this League of Legends?
I
Do you
played it
speak of?
once and I was very bad at it. I've mentioned
think
this
we're all
before.
bad
I am. No, I couldn't even like win the fights against the bots because I did bot battles to start with because my friend was trying to get me
I
into
mean,
it.
everyone
in, like,
does
high
bots
school.
first, right?
Well, what was it? I had a friend who was playing it, and they were trying to get me. This was like back in high school. They were trying to get me into it, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Fine, I'll try it. If it's somebody else's friend is playing it, I'll have someone to play with. And so I tried it, and I got really excited because I won the first one, and then I lost every other one after that, and that was just fighting bots.
Oh.
And that was when
That's
I was
fair.
like, I don't think I'm very good at this. Maybe I will stop. I think I did try to play like one real game, and then people were bringing douchebags, and I was like, I'm not gonna play this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about League of Legends.
I
Yeah,
was
that's
like-
League.
You guys,
My brother has the most bot wins out of anyone in OCE.
Wow. I don't know if that's an accomplishment to be
Yeah.
proud of.
he like showed me. He's like, look at the stats, and it's like, what? How? He was like number 3 Yumi in the world at one point.
Jesus Christ, that's disgusting. Specifically because Yumi. Christ.
Yeah, okay, it was before she was, but it was when she was still identified as not broken.
Uh huh. Yeah.
I love
I
how
think
Indy's
most-
like, that still doesn't make it better.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
No
I've seen crazy
no one
people.
liked her for the first month and a half.
yeah, I'm well
Gameplay
aware.
wise.
She was weird to use. Then the people figure it out. Oh wait, this is one of the most broken characters to ever exist in the history of mankind.
I got level 7 in the first 3 weeks and then didn't play.
God, you know what's the most deterrent thing? One of my best friends in my usual duo for League, that psychopath was Mastery 7 Nunu before the rework.
I mean, I hate to tell you this,
He
but
got
so
into
was
Sin in
I.
a week. No, seriously, he got in a week. We literally played for like a week and he got Mastery 7 on Nunu. It was so stupid. Anyways, I don't want to exclude
Look, I'm
you
a
from the League
mid
conversation.
player, dude.
I was okay, I'm just chilling back here. I'm chilling when you guys just nerd out. It's fine.
I
Be
mean,
the cool
I mean-
kid here, the normal.
T knows some League, like Heartsteel, KDA.
I don't
You
know
know?
it that well. I just know some of it, okay? Because I've listened to KDA stuff, and I think I listened to the other one. What was it? Hot thingy?
The Heartsteel.
Hot Steel.
Yeah.
That was.
Remember that picture I sent on Snapchat, and I was
forced to
like,
watch that.
"Who's the hottest?"
Oh yeah, I know that. It's I'm not saying I dislike it. I think it's cool. I like it. I was just remember like I hadn't gotten around to watching it, and then I was just like put into like I was in a call, and they were like, "We're watching it now. I've watched it 1,500 times. We're watching it again. You haven't seen it. You need to see it." And I was like,
Got
okay.
it. Was it Bayo?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It was
it's-
him.
Yeah.
It wasn't their exact words, but that was how it felt.
Mm.
I mean,
I unironically love League of Legends. Like it's.
oh, me too.
I think I've mentioned this before, but I actually applied for Riot. I've
think-
applied 3 times now. I've gotten rejected 3 times.
Oh.
It's a little bit sad.
I mean,
but,
it's
like,
a pretty. I
understand.
feel like it's probably an in-demand place to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of,
like
yeah. I mean, it's just a little frustrating when you see stuff that gets like like the entire existence. This is gonna sound terrible, but like there's a specific writer that they hired that had zero previous experience in making games.
Maybe they just had
and
connections, dude.
Yeah, I was like, the guy got hired, and he is like notorious for like making some of the most community-hated characters and changes and stuff. And it's like, wow.
No, don't tell me it's
so
the
bad
Yasuo guy.
Yeah, it's like
It is?
like I studied for so long to learn all this thing, and I can't get in, but this guy gets in, and like all this shit happens. Like, wow, it's frustrating, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, probably connections, and also like they
Nepotism.
probably were there for something else, and then they moved into the actual development.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because
That
it's
happens
easier
a
to
lot.
hire someone already on the inside.
Yeah, that definitely could have been a possibility.
Yeah, so it's like I'm not gonna throw shit at them because like at the end, like there's a good reason their characters are notorious and they're popular, but like at the same time it's kind of frustrating. But yeah, no, it's I could literally talk about League for like hours on end, but I don't think anybody
Oh, don't get me
wants
wrong.
that.
Me too. Like I hate the game when I'm playing it, but I really love the game. like when the MMO comes out, I will be only playing the MMO.
Mm.
But that's
mean,
in like
I-
6 years.
Yeah, I enjoy like the game playing it, but I also enjoy like the design aspect of it, like how the teams work, like the pods, designing the champions, coming up with the mechanics, figuring out how it's gonna work in the long term, character design in general, just the whole way
even-
that they work at Riot is so cool.
Even like the slight changes that they'll make to like the map just changes how people approach the game entirely.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Like especially with the new season coming out, they're like shifting the lanes over a little bit, and that's gonna change the game so much.
Yeah, no, the design work that goes into League in of itself, like we're living aside if it's balanced or not, but just that the design decisions they take are so interesting. Most of the time positive, sometimes negatives, but that's like part of development, right? Like you're shipping a product that's already live, so you don't know if it's going to work or not, but the fact that they're willing to take this design decisions and test it and try and see what sticks and if it benefits or not the game, I think that's not many people do that. Not many live services are willing to like literally rework how their game works every 2 years or so.
Yeah.
Does it say a lot about the game, whether it's good or bad? You can debate about that, but the fact of the matter is they take chances and they really go into the dev aspect. It's really cool.
And like one thing that they've started doing a little bit, I feel like they're gonna I reckon they should do it more, but they probably won't, is like collaborations with stuff, right?
Mm.
Like when it comes to collaborations, like when they did Louis Vuitton, like that was really like I bought the skin. I had to buy the skin.
Yeah, no, Prestige KDA Kiara is like, sorry, Prestige True Damage Kiara is like the only Louis Vuitton thing I own.
But
It's probably the only
I think
thing
you
that I
tweeted
own.
that.
Yeah, probably.
Sorry, I did a lot of research on you. But like stuff like that. So collaborations with games and like other things like groups. Like how Overwatch has the collab with Le Seraphim right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to see more stuff like that. I think Overwatch is good with collabs, better than League, but I think League could learn a lot from just that part of Overwatch, nothing else of Overwatch. Don't at me.
Nothing else.
Oh,
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I love to see like the thing about it is that League has been present and has been doing collabs with other people or with other things, but they've always been out. Like the collab with Fortnite where they added Jinx and Vi, I think.
yeah, they're always putting their stuff into other things.
Exactly, but like they usually don't have things from outside in because of IP or whatever.
Yeah, like the closest
is.
you got is that one Rammus skin.
Yeah, the legally not allowed Rammus skin. I
Yeah,
think it's banned from competitive play actually.
it is.
Yeah. But it'd be cool to see crossovers and things like that, but I understand why they don't do it on a
Yeah.
like IP marketing perspective. Like preserving the brand integrity as it is, and because these kind of things run out. So like if a partnership runs out, you have to either renew it or never give it again. And they know people will like go absolutely insane if you cannot get something again, considering how a lot of like those ancient skins are no longer obtainable and people
PAX
complain about it. Yeah. Yeah.
PAX Jacks, Championship
PAX.
Ribbon, Dahlia, PAX TF, PAX Siva.
I mean, even just the
Black
Victoria
Alistair.
skins.
Yeah, even the Victoria skins, people are like, let me buy it.
Or let me like pick. That's what I would say. Like, if I end gold in a season, let me pick a
Which one? Yeah,
a Victoria skin from that I don't own.
because I don't want the Blitzcrank one. I never want the Blitzcrank one.
Scandinavia one is so, I don't want to say ugly, but it's like I have opinions.
Anyway, yeah, I reckon they could do it, but like with Monster Hunter, right?
Mm.
They had such cool collabs where like they would add, like you get like a Sonic skin for your cat, right?
Yeah.
But they are a Sega title, so it's still in brand for them
No.
to just like do Sega related
Monster,
stuff.
Monster Hunter is Capcom.
Capcom, sorry, wrong one. But they still had Sonic, so it's like
Yeah, they have more leeway with that kind of stuff, mostly because of just, I want to say Japanese companies are more like okay with doing that kind of stuff. Like look
Yeah.
at Final Fantasy 14, like the amount of weird ass crossovers they have, and even Final Fantasy 15 had a Assassin's Creed crossover.
it did.
Yeah, you could play Assassin's Creed kind of in freaking Final Fantasy 15.
That is true, actually. I vaguely remember it. I don't have a big memory, but like I have like a vague, like a vague familiarity kind of thing.
Mm.
Like that type of thing. Of like I'm pretty sure I remember like some side quests or something like that in Final Fantasy 15 that were the Assassin's Creed like crossover.
Man, but Monster Hunter
Yeah.
had the Witcher crossover.
I hated that mission so much. I never completed it because I could not freaking fight stupid
Because you had to
monsters.
solo it.
You had to solo it, and like what was it? It was just did a lot of like what was it, AOE or whatever?
It did AoE and it just constantly moved.
Yeah, and I hated it. It really annoyed me. And like I think it was good. What was it? I think it was good if you could like mount monsters, but I could not mount monsters.
Oh yeah, because it was a human size, so you couldn't mount it.
Oh, you couldn't mount it? Okay. Well, I
You
think
couldn't.
it's just the
Not
AoE
at
that
all.
really got me.
That's
Yeah, so
God.
I just decided to ignore it after like I think it was like 3 or 4 attempts like the first day, and then like another 1 or 2 attempts another day, and then being like, it's not happening. It's not happening.
And I was just there standing there like as
But you
Geralt, just like
Yeah,
I feel so strong because he gets free regen on the outfit that you get. It's so good.
Yeah, but weren't you using a weapon that was like better? I feel like for AoE, or maybe it just had stronger.
I mean,
Like
it
damage.
also gave you a sword and shield. Like,
Yeah, but I don't do short sword
how
and
can I
shield.
plus that up? I know, I could.
You love sword and shield. We know.
That's fair. You know, that reminds me of a crossover that I'm not sure if it's gonna come back, because like recently, Konami released the Metal Gear Solid collection,
Yeah.
and like they're obviously planning on also releasing 4 Peace Walker and the rest. So, in Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, there was a Monster Hunter crossover, and it was like I love Metal Gear, but I think like that thing was super crazy because you could fight Tigrex, you could fight
Like Diablos.
you could
Why
fight
not
it was like two specific ones. The
Oh, it would have been
Rathalos.
Rathalos, yeah.
and
Rathalos is the poster child.
Yeah,
so
Rathalos
they had a
is.
crossover where you could fight them, and then specifically for the game, they created the Gear Rex, and it was basically like a dinosaur version of Metal Gear Rex, but like an
Oh my
actual
gosh.
creature, and you could fight it and hunt it in the game. And it's still one of the hardest things I've ever attempted in my life, and I've played like I play like
I don't
fucking
even,
Monster
like-
Hunter 3 in Japanese on the Wii.
Look,
It's
it's
like-
not. I can't believe you played on the Wii. Oh gosh.
It was awful. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
that.
I could
Dude, it was
imagine.
Fucking awful.
Played it on the Wii U.
But yeah, I don't even like
It was a little bit better.
in Monster Hunter in any of the games.
Yeah, no, like.
It's not the hardest one to fight, especially if you've leveled up, like if you're further in the game. But I don't like the ones like Rathalos is because they're like flying most of the time, and I don't like that
Mhm.
because I don't
Yeah,
use
no,
a
that's
ranged
fair.
weapon. So
Yeah, the thing that made it hard for like the Metal Gear crossover was that you had to in order to get S rank on the missions, you had to do no kill, which means that you had to take down Tigrex, Rathalos, and Gear Rex by non-lethal methods, which
yeah.
meant that you could only use your shitty ass tranquilizer gun,
No.
and in order to be able to dodge their moves. So in order to survive, you had to either like pack your full entire combat suit, which made you slow as hell, but have more ammo, or be absolutely naked and be fast as hell to dodge everything.
Naked.
Yeah, so like that
Like-
entire experience was like so terrible. Because imagine you go from like fighting the monsters with like swords, great swords, bow and arrow, bagpipes, whatever, and then you just an actual regular ass human with a tranquilizer gun deciding to stun humans, not monsters. It was rough, but I loved it. It was really fun, but it was awful.
Man, I just love dumb collabs. I think the world needs more of those.
Oh god, listen, I don't care much about Final Fantasy 14, but they have a collab with freaking Fall Guys right now, and that shit's fucking hilarious.
What
That's
the
so dumb.
That sounds
It's so funny.
Cause like one game that I really love for its collabs is Dead Cells, right?
Mhm.
Like Dead Cells has so many different freaking collabs. Like I'm pretty sure it has Hollow Knight. It's got, oh my god, I don't even remember too many of them. Damn it.
And then also Castlevania one, the recently announced.
I think so.
Wait, there was actually a Castlevania one. Hold
I
on.
think so, yeah. I'm like
Maybe.
90%
I feel like
sure.
I've seen some stuff for it, but that could just be like
Yeah, Dead
fan
Cells
stuff.
Return to Castlevania bundle.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. And like you got. Oh my god, is that Earthworm Jim? That's not Earthworm Jim. What is that? There's just too much stuff going on, but I love it. They've got Skull. Alright, they have a Skull collab because I mean, why wouldn't they?
Mm.
But like, I love when games just have a million collabs or like fun collabs that are just out to the right side somehow.
I mean, that's what makes Super Smash Bros. Such a seminal piece of content for like gaming in general. It's just the sheer amount of representation or crossovers that go into it, and just getting a lot of those licenses is so hard. It's even surprising it happened. That's why like the last DLC collab character was Sora, because it's not just getting the license from Square Enix, which is already hard, but like getting the license from Disney to be able to put the character in. Imagine
Yeah.
all of the hoops that you have to jump through to make that happen. It's insane.
That would be absolutely whack.
And then, well, you have Fortnite, which people like to put it down, but
But like
I
they've
think
got
Fortnite's like
They've
the
done so many
biggest
collabs.
collaboration
Yeah.
of media. Yeah.
Like, yeah, if you had to count, I feel like it would definitely be in the hundreds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
'Cause
have
I feel like
anime, you have
There's
movies,
like
comics.
never a point where they're not doing a collab. You know what I mean?
They have a collab with Balenciaga. I don't.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but it's like, how many people who play Fortnite will buy Balenciaga merchandise in real life?
Me.
Your Fortnite Balenciaga.
I got them
shoes.
Balenciagas. The ones that look like socks.
Shut up.
I forget what sock that is, but
Oh my god. But yeah, no, it's. I love collabs. I think they're awesome, but at the same time, it's like. I don't know. I think we're gonna hit a point where like people don't know what else to collab with.
that's true.
Depends
And then
on-
bam,
yeah.
taxis. or like bam, city of like wherever, like Las Vegas is now sponsoring this game.
Oh god.
Where do we
I would
end?
not be surprised. It's like, if it can be collabed with, like, it will be, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, if they can monetize it, they will. 100%.
In any way. Yeah.
So I guess we've hit almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
Right?
It's been
So-
3 hours.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Exactly. But we can go along the questions that were asked that we haven't answered
Oh yeah.
through the redeems that you can do. And if you're
Yeah,
listening, you can just come into the chat and ask them during the stream, or put them on YouTube if you have a question, you know. Feel free.
Yeah, you just put them, you can comment on one of the previous videos if you want a question answered in the future, and we will do that. Otherwise, you can just ask them live, like many people are doing currently. You can do them throughout the start of the podcast, or you can even put in questions while we're answering them right now. So shall we get started on those ones?
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
So the first question that we got from Whisper was, what can you do to land a job at this time as a junior? Okay. Yeah, that's the first question from Whisper.
Alright, so to land a position as in they're a junior, so like
Yeah, I think they're saying so that they're a junior, and like if they're a junior, what could they do to land a job? Like currently, with the way that the industry currently is.
alright, got it. Inti
I mean, I have some opinions, but I don't know how accurate they are. They're just like, this is what how I would
Yeah,
go
go for it.
about it. Well, I mean, I've mentioned that I think that portfolios are super important. Obviously, it's not the main thing, but especially for like, I mean, even if it's not design related, even if you're like a programmer, having a portfolio showing like what your capabilities are and examples of like, you know, different, you know, maybe game jams you've done, or other stuff, programming related adjacent stuff that you've done is really helpful to have. People really like that. That's a really big part of it. Like there's many people I feel like in the industry who don't even have like qualifications and will just get in based on their portfolio and stuff like that. So portfolio is very good, so I think it's good to have a solid portfolio. Connections and networking, massive part. So if you can connect with people, if it's a fellow student that got a job, or like somebody you studied with, or somebody you met online, yeah. And I think aside from that, acknowledge that you're a junior and you might not necessarily get all of the demands that you might want in your first job.
but also just apply.
Yeah,
like,
oh yeah.
Straight up.
That's just a general like getting a job thing.
Like-
Apply to as many as possible. Like you're not gonna get
Like,
it in the first
don't
10.
And don't even question it whether or not you're like completely the right candidate,
Oh yeah.
because no one fills up every single spot of like someone's wants, right?
Yeah. Like you might have to just like bullshit your way through an application at times. That's pretty common, which is
That's
sad.
pretty standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of bad.
It's bad, but it's like,
I mean, yeah, most jobs are like that. It's like they're obviously trying to get like the perfect candidate, but trust me, they're probably not gonna find it for a
yeah,
long
the one
time.
they're hiring is whatever they get that's closest
The
to
okay
the perfect
candidate.
candidate. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be that okay candidate.
Yeah. You might
Yeah,
be.
and well, like people say, just if you want like to figure out what to do for the work, just grab your portfolio and tailor it specifically for what you're applying to. But also, a lot of it goes into like how you're presenting your work. There's a lot of panels from GDC that I think they are online. They're called Killer Portfolio or Portfolio Killer. And it's just a bunch of people who have been working in the industry, like specifically in the art segment, to try to like talk to you about what do you want to present on your portfolio, what you should show, what you shouldn't show. And a lot of times, people tell you, put your best work, put the thing that makes you like the most proud of. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but a lot of these companies are not hiring you or are not going to hire you based on like this one job that you did very well. They
Yeah.
need consistency. They need somebody who can consistently deliver a specific level of quality. And that's what you have to show. You have to show what you can consistently produce. Be it like art, be it like programming wise, or be like, well, programming wise, I think you have a little bit more leeway to show like really out there stuff. But most of the time you want to show that you know how to work consistently in whatever thing you're doing. It's not a one-off, it's not a fluke, it's something that you have done before, you can keep doing with it. And you want to show a mixture of that and the things that you are really proud of that you have done. Because usually when you show them and eventually they bring it up when you're being interviewed and you talk about them, that's the thing you're going to go a lot more in depth of, and it's going to show that you really know your shit.
Yeah. And I know like tailoring your portfolio to the job that you want can be tiring, because like, what if you're tailoring it to like even like the specific company that you're applying into, that can be exhausting, because if you're applying to hundreds of places, you have to tailor your portfolio hundreds of times. It's really good to have like, like maybe you have like 4 different job titles or 5 that you're like, those are the ones that you're consistently applying for at different companies, and you just have like 5 different versions of your portfolio that are like tailored to those roles
that
and
are
then,
good enough.
yeah, and then you can minorly
you just
adjust
leave
them if you need to
blank
for a company.
words on your resume, and you just fill in the company name every time. Like,
yeah, like cheat stuff that you can do to kind of make it a little bit like easier on you, but because yeah, it is going to be a lot of repetition and like just a while of rinse and repeat.
And I love how like it was like, so I said some stuff, and then Inti says some stuff with references, and I'm like, Professor.
Sorry, just the force of habit.
I was like, it was amazing. Like he's so much better.
I wouldn't say that.
Practice.
Just you get used to it after a bit. Like,
It's a
yeah,
course
you
of
have to do
habit.
this. Okay, source me.
Yeah,
Give
yeah.
me your source.
But yeah, I mean, there are resources out there for it. It is helpful to know where to look, though, like where do you look for these resources? Because even if people are like, oh yeah, there's stuff out there, it's like, okay, but like where out there?
Yeah, it's. I'll be honest about it. It's a little bit hard, especially for this line of work, because not a lot of people really talk about it. And think about it this way: we have 2 waves. People have been working in this for a bit that started doing nothing completely related to this, and then somehow made it in, right? People who were working in this from the very beginning, where there were no jobs, and they just started like that, and it happened. Like a lot of like senior programmers are people who were just doing programming on their own, and then they got together and then they started programming and made a game, and now they're a company and they hire people. And the other is a bunch of people who are like us, who are like, oh, we went to study this, we want to do this, we're trying to develop, and there's such a breach. Like there's a huge space in between us and like how the hiring process is. So you're not gonna find a lot of people telling you exactly what you're looking for. You have to usually either ask people who have gotten hired recently, or check people who have been in for a bit and tell you those references. And that's why like those talks are really useful. But like, I'll be honest, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if people tell me, oh, you'll find it if you look around, because yeah, like most people can't really tell you off the top of their heads.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
And I know this isn't really, I'm pretty sure this is not what they're asking at all, but I'll add this just in case. Like I mentioned, you want to know like where to look for in case some like, we're not just saying you like look for it and you'll find it, because that's not helpful at all. When it comes to like landing a job in the game industry, I mean look for the jobs in the right places. There are like proper groups and websites. Some of them are catered specifically to game development jobs in your country. Some of them are just game development jobs in general, and they're international. Like ArtStation's a really good one to look for jobs. Specifically tailored to art, design, and like game development stuff, pretty much. So definitely like check that out. And search around on forums. Definitely check out like Reddit forums and stuff like that, because there are specifically like game dev forums where people are like talking about like good places, good reliable places that will advertise like for the jobs you want. Even though like they're talking about landing the job, not like applying for it. I think they're like, how do I get the job? Like, I applied for it, how do I get them to like accept my application?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next question we answered. Inti kicked a teacher in the nuts.
Yeah, that's
I got my friend called a C word by one, and T does nothing to her teachers.
I haven't done anything to my teachers except threaten to sue them a couple times.
And the question being, any of you three responsible for a teacher quitting their job? We got to that.
Yeah. Okay. What do you guys do full time? If you're okay with talking about this, Inti. You don't have to.
Yeah. Well, currently, we're actually just, my biggest focus right now, job-wise, and it's hard to explain. It's not quite customer support. It has a weird freaking name. Client success, operation or whatever. I currently work with a lot of clients around Latin America for like providing services and solutions, and I also do teaching. But definitely like teaching is like, let's say like 9 hours a day. Sorry, 9 hours a week compared to like a full-time job. So it's a little bit of half and half. That's my current day to day.
And I have a couple things. Like, I've got a part-time job. I do some side stuff sometimes, rarely. And then I've got the stuff for this game. This person over here.
Yo.
See that one with the horns?
Hey, with me.
And then I'm doing some like studying of my own on the side, but that's really all I do. All four of those things, and then gaming.
Oh yes. I am similar to these two, where I don't have full time. I kind of have just a bunch of different part-time stuff. So I'm doing. I feel weird to say that I'm doing streaming. Streaming is more like advertisement for the games that I'm making.
It's a professional streamer. Oh my god, you guys should follow.
So I'm doing game development. So that's part of my job. So I'm developing games to release. I am my own like self-employed indie developer under the name Tea Time Productions. I'm doing that. So I'm doing that for most of my time. I would say that's probably the thing that takes the most time. I could say it's full-time, but it doesn't necessarily always cover 5 days a week sometimes. Although currently it's covering like 7 days a week. With the deadline, I'm really pushing that. I don't really work, but I do get part of my income from investing. And I'm also have taken on another job that's been aged care, because I volunteered to spend a portion of my week taking care of my grandfather, whose Parkinson's has progressed. So those are kind of my jobs right now. It's not like all of them are like any of them are specifically full-time. The biggest full-time job I can say to answer the question would be like game development, but I am doing like 3 different things.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that one. That used to be me. God.
But I don't know. I'm the type of person who I don't really think it's good to rely on a single income stream. So I'd rather have multiple. Is it weird to say I'd rather have multiple jobs? But yeah, at least even if I had one single full-time job, I'd definitely have side hustles, because I just think that it's like a good idea to have multiple streamlines of income coming in, having that cash rain. Not that I'm rich. Not that I'm at all rich from doing this. Yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. One day.
Yeah, the keyword.
Okay, the next question is, how stressful is having a programming job? I don't know, I don't like programming. I'm not good at it. That's it. Anyone know a program?
Oh, you want me to take the lead on this one? Am I the most programmy of us all here?
I'm pretty sure I do logic runs. I don't actually code, so
yeah, you're mostly a design, aren't you?
Yeah.
I truly cannot speak solely for programming because I didn't professionally study it. I've never, like, the closest I have to a career in it is just programming my own small games. And if you've seen my code, it is messy and not impressive. In fact, it's frightening. I've made a lot of people hurt from seeing it, just purely on visuals. I've broken up a couple people. But in terms of like the workload, as somebody who went into it without any formal training and kind of self-taught myself, and I'm kind of just like working with the skills that I have, it can be pretty stressful. It can be pretty stressful. It can be like rewarding, and there's a lot of opportunities by going down that route. And there's also, I know of just from like other people that it's a great career, or it has like a good income for the career. So I know the answer. I know the question is how stressful is the job, but it's one of those where it's like you gotta like weigh the pros and cons of like the work itself. Stressful, totally stressful. It's not too stressful if you have coworkers. I think that really helps. Having coworkers who also do programming makes the stress a little bit easier because you can talk about your problems with them, and even if neither of you can come up with a solution, you're like angry together, and that feels a little bit easier because it's like you have someone to vent to about the problem.
That being said, I have heard a very nice tidbit about coding, which was what one coder can do in 7 hours, 3 coders can do in 14 hours. Because it is hard to work with other people on a code.
It is hard in terms of the working. It's the stress that like is slightly easier. It's like, I don't know, it's like more stressful in terms of like working with them together, but it's like if you were both working on 2 different things and you just asked for like feedback or like someone to kind of look over your code and maybe give you a different like perspective, then it's like less stressful.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like, do you want speed or do you want to be sane?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the different thing. From Kester, we have the best advice from my old programming teacher was to just Google the answer online. It definitely helps to know how to Google. To Google and to know how to Google, because honestly, Googling programming is itself an art form. Yeah, I've definitely known that asking the right questions is an art form to get your answers. So I would say...
And if you want to know more about asking questions, go to Inti's GDC.
I'll throw you off the window.
How to Ask Questions by Intilink. A 3-hour GDC talk. So, yeah, to answer the question, how stressful is having a programming job? I would say it's high stress but high reward in terms of like income and stuff like that. So it's like that could take the stress off. Like, you know, what is it called? Retail therapy after hours.
Just go buy some fried chicken.
Yeah, so it's a lucrative job. So it's like it's kind of like, yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if that really is a good answer for the question because we kind of go back and forth on it.
Yeah.
Some people find it stressful, some people don't. I think a lot of people do find it stressful, but I think it's not too stressful if you're working in a maybe a genre of programming that you enjoy, and even if you don't enjoy it, work for a company that doesn't make you do overtime. Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's like game development. If you're doing programming and game development, you're more likely to do overtime for it. But if you kind of like game development and you don't mind the overtime, then it's like it's not too stressful, or it's stressful but not in a painful way, I guess. I'm someone who thrives on stress, so.
I think it's really funny that one of the people I know that is the biggest coder I know, they would stop work, drive home, and start coding on other stuff to take away the stress from regular coding.
I've talked about this before. Like, if I were to join a studio, so if I were to like move from like joining us like to joining a studio and working there full time, you know, at a different company, I think I would still come home and do my own game dev on like indie games when I get home, I don't think I can not do it. Like, I think I would do game dev, and then I'd come home and I'd do more game dev. It's a problem.
Hey, if you like it, you like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What can you say?
What can you say? It's a little addictive.
Hail Smash says, what would you tell your younger self about your schooling?
That's a tough one.
Okay, you ready? Look, man. You're in year 10. I'm gonna talk to year 10 Perry.
Specifically
You're in year 10, man. You could just stop right now, do a bridging course, be a year ahead, and go straight into whatever the heck you want. You don't need to do year 11 and 12, and you barely need to do, like, you could just go do whatever you want. But I would suggest probably just, like, go straight into uni, and if not, go into something more targeted to what you want to do. You want to do 3D animation? Freaking start it early, okay?
Do an
You piece of
internship,
crap.
man. Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it.
I think that's a really good one. That's a good one. I would have definitely told my younger self, year 10 self, because like high school was torture for me. I didn't drop out at year 10 because I was like, I have to go to university, so I have to survive this. It was also like, I was
That's the
like,
thing.
I've been at this one school, but by year 10, I had been at that school for at least 12 years because it was the same school, and I was like, you've survived this long, I'm just gonna, out of spite, finish it, just to say that I survived, kind of sitch. But yeah, to be honest, I think for me, if I didn't, I mean, even if I did like drop out at year 10, I think I would definitely tell myself to start game development like earlier. I don't know if my younger self would have done that though, because I was very sure in high school that I was going to become an animator. That I was going to go and do animations for shows. I was not going to go into game development because I didn't care about games. I wasn't huge on games. I'm bigger than I was before, but I'm still not like playing games every single day. So I did not expect myself to go into game development. But I wish that I had like learnt the like enjoyment of learning game design and designing games like earlier on, because I think it would have been like, oh yeah, build your skill level up earlier. And I don't know. I almost would want to tell myself, like, part of me is like, oh yeah, skip university. But I don't think I would be allowed to do that. My family's pretty much like, yeah, go to university, passive aggressively. So I probably instead would be like, slow down, like, don't speedrun this. Instead, take at least 4 years to do this. Like, only do 2 units a semester and spend the rest of the time like honing your portfolio or doing more internships or like just like kind of like getting myself to like take a step back and try to like accomplish like more rather than accomplish things faster. Just like so that would be mine. Would probably be the take your time at university. Take advantage of the fact that you have the label as a student and that you can or have the student income like available to you, and just like make time to hone your portfolio or something while you have the like that like coverage of the student title. Because, like, after that, you don't have as much, like, once you graduated and you don't have a job or whatever, if you want to work on your portfolio or something like that, you don't have, like, the security of a student income, so you'd have to work part-time, which you might already have been doing while you're a student as well. And people don't necessarily, other companies won't necessarily see it as, like, you were actually doing something. They'll just be like, oh, you're just like sitting at home being lazy. You just labeled this as working on your portfolio. So some companies and places have a bias of people being like unemployed for too long and not actually having like a job and not having anything to show for it, kind of thing. So I definitely tell myself to take my freaking time. And also take advantage of the peers you have around you at that time, so you can show them your private work and ask for their feedback.
I mean, but if I could go even further back, screw everything, invest in Bitcoin early.
Oh my god, don't even get me started on that because I was actually investing in Bitcoin when it first came out. I was mining for it. And I'm
Okay.
pretty sure it had half a coin.
So, when it was first coming out, right? Like, first being done, the other person living in my house, the YouTube guy,
Mm-hmm.
he was like, if you give me $50, I will buy the equivalent of Bitcoin, which at that point was like at least 8 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And he bought like 12. He was well off for a long time.
I can't imagine, lucky bastard.
And he didn't sell until like, where was the peak? It was a little before the peak. He was like, I'm not risking it. I'm stopping now.
Mm-mm.
I think it was like 2015, 2016.
But like, oh my god. That's one thing I regret, not giving him the $50. That would have made me hundreds of thousands.
I think it's a little bit hard because I think that if I hadn't made the mistakes that I've made, I wouldn't be where I am in both a negative and a positive sense.
That's true.
So like, I know looking back, like what happened through high school, it's like, I mean, there's no way out of it. That was the year where I like, literally like the tail end of high school, like year 10, 11. Nothing I could possibly tell myself would change anything.
There's not like a skill that you would love to have been like going back to your like old self and be like, start learning this on the side.
Start knitting.
Yeah, start knitting as a hobby, and then you'd be like a really
Yeah,
good
I'm just
knitter
thinking
now.
of like the age where like you're actually really willing to put time to learn stuff, which is like, 16, 17. But that was like right after my dad passed away. So like nothing I could possibly tell myself now would stop me from, being how I was. I think if anything, I would like to tell myself when I first entered art school or like when I was thinking of entering art school, to start to take programming seriously. I think my biggest mistake as somebody who like is in game development and all this stuff is that I coded just so I could pass because I hate it so much instead of actually actively learning, and it's taking away so many good opportunities I could have had because knowing how to program code, whatever, and make things work in of itself is a really good skill that a lot of people like underestimate how important it really is. Like, sure, I take pride in being a designer. I take pride in being able to break down and solve problems from a design perspective. But to be honest, I could have a much bigger non-NDA portfolio if I had taken programming seriously.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I've like. It's definitely something that I learned towards like I think it was last year of uni when I was like, oh, the best option for me would be like jack of all trades kind of thing, because you just have a wider net of opportunities, and then like when you get those opportunities, then you can like, while you're doing like taking advantage of that opportunity, you can like hone that skill until like the next opportunity comes when it's like, oh, I need somebody who has experience doing like animation or something like that. It's like, oh, I've done 2D animations before, I can do this, I've used these softwares, I can like take advantage of that. It was a couple years ago, but this was my work then. If I just look over the program, I could like muscle memory it. And like same thing with like coding, where it's like, I know the basics, this is like the extent of it. If somebody needs like an assist, I am like there for it. So it's like the true value of like a jack of all trades is very good in general, because you have more of an opportunity, more opportunities available to you, but also just because like it means that you can, especially if you're in like an indie studio, there's going to be an instance where you need to do more than what your specialty is, and being able to do that is very good skill to have. Like, just yeah, I guess it's a grass is greener on the other side kind of perspective on that one. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I would like, God, if I could go back and tell myself to take programming seriously and jack of all trades myself a little bit more, I think I would be so much better off. But then again, you know, it's kind of like you spec in one thing, so you kind of lower the other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it might be
kinda
like
weird.
something else. Something that you're good at now, you might be less good at if you were
Yeah.
taking an extra bit of interest in coding.
Yeah, like my minor quotation marks, because we really didn't have minors, is like animation, which is like a topic I cover a lot in my like third year classes, just because of how important it is to be able to express things just via the game itself. So yeah, no, like I spend a lot of time working on design and understanding animation, even though it's a pain in the ass to actually animate.
Yeah.
I
But,
mean,
like, the theory and the knowledge is super freaking useful.
yeah.
It is,
And
it
I just think it. Okay, when I was doing it, which is a long time ago now, which is I wanted to do 3D animation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed doing it. I just stopped doing it. I don't know why.
Gotta get
But,
that
like,
spark back in your life.
Well, what happened was I think my computer just couldn't handle it, so I couldn't do it
Yeah.
at home. And the only place I could do it was at uni, and so I'd animate at uni. And my computer still couldn't handle it. Because 3D animation software is hectic.
That's true.
Yeah, it's very tanky.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe when you get a new computer at some point,
Yeah.
you can jump back into it.
It won't ever happen.
But this next question, I think is
Oh, yeah.
more tailored to Indy compared to either of us, because we are little babies in this industry. We
God.
certainly do not have any experience here. So, Indy,
Oh, wait,
talking to you.
Wait.
What?
wait. Can I read out the second word?
What?
It just says, what games have you worked on?
I mean, we know what they mean. What AAA games have you worked on? Was the question that CC so
AAA
eloquently put.
games. I mean, it would be nice to say at least one, but I haven't had the chance to work on a like major budget AAA game.
What's the
I work
biggest
in-
game you've ever worked on then? Like, what's the closest to a AAA game?
Closest to a AAA. I can't say a lot because of NDAs.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what
Yeah.
what game that is out and completed in every single way that you're allowed to talk about have you worked on?
So I'll tell you this much. A lot of the games that are published in like companies like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, all of that stuff is outsourced to Peru or other South American countries.
Mhm.
Oh.
So there's a few. I can't give you much more details because I'm pretty sure that's also covered in the NDA. But there's a few of them that I have had a hand on. If I were to say the biggest project that I can tell you that we got to completion was a commissioned project for a company that wanted to have a specific little game for themselves, and it ended up becoming like the biggest game in the App Store for like June, July, and August.
Which
Oh my
was,
gosh.
if we are allowed to
I-
say,
Yeah.
That's
the actual
No.
name is yeah,
Yep,
got it.
not
yeah,
allowed.
Got it.
actually
It's
I'm not allowed.
redacted.
Redacted.
Yeah,
Why
it's-
didn't you
it's-
search it
it's-
up?
Those contracts are so dumb. I swear to God. Like, lesson to anybody who might care about this. If you get a job in any gaming company, make 100% sure that you can talk about it because
Yeah,
otherwise
okay.
it's like I see you to do shit.
It's like, what? You said it on a podcast 7 years after the launch of it? Well,
Okay.
A lot of them actually
Dude.
specifically say that you cannot talk about it at all. Others give you permission like a couple of years later, but a lot of the ones that are commissioned by big companies, they even pay you to erase your logo from your company from
Yeah.
the game thingy. Yeah, it's
That's not,
like, yeah,
that's
sure,
not
it's
cool.
nice because it gives you the monies, but at the same time, it's like when you look at it later from a portfolio perspective, you can't put it there.
You can't even put it in your portfolio. So it's like, I've done more
Yeah,
stuff that's on my
it's-
portfolio. I'm just not allowed to talk about it. So
I'm
as
working
far
on
as
like 5 projects, but I can't show you.
it's one of the things like, I swear my girlfriend exists. I swear. They're real.
She goes to
I'm
another
showing
school.
you. It was.
like
It
that
happened in
meme,
a
like,
different
I'm a
country.
surgeon.
That's why.
I'm a surgeon. I'm a surgeon. I'm a surgeon.
Um.
It's so bad.
speaking of having totally real partners, I don't know if you guys know this game, but Hooked on You. Fuck, marry, kill, adopt. Which characters? What'd you do?
Google it. Hooked.
It's a Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight dating.
Yeah, I know, but I just don't know
You
what
need
they
the
look
characters, yeah.
like. In that art style.
I want to know the one character's name.
It's only 4 characters, right?
Actually, yeah, but there's like...
There's a number 2, isn't there?
There's... maybe, I don't know. I haven't got through the first one. There's a pop-up of another character that I want to add in. Because, you know what? They didn't say they had to be dateable characters. There are still side characters in there that we can add to this list. So, for me, since I know the game best, I'll start. This is for fuck, marry, kill, adopt. Okay, so I feel like I would probably adopt Huntress, right? I feel like I would adopt Huntress.
Okay.
I would, okay. Would I fuck or would I marry them? I feel like I would fuck the Trickster. Cause he's not a dateable character, but they like tease him a bit, and I'm like, I want to date. I want to get with him. And then I think I would marry Spirit because they're kind of the path I'm going down now. But I don't know if it would be a happy marriage. You know what I mean? So
I mean, they're all murderers.
They're all murderers. Yeah, my fucking marry, kind of like I could switch them. You know? I don't know Trickster well enough, so we're just gonna fuck him. And then I would, oh my gosh. And then I would, kill Trapper so I do not have to do his German voice acting every time I have to play Hooked on You. Why did I agree to do a German voice to voice act that character? I feel so embarrassed every time I do it. So
Okay, what are the options?
Okay.
So it's the Spirit, the
no,
Hunt.
no, like not the character was like the options like
fuck, marry,
fuck,
kill, adopt.
yeah.
fuck, marry, kill, adopt. Wow. Okay, that's
There's 4
Okay.
options. Yeah, you gotta pick because like there's 4 main characters and then the side characters, but they didn't tell me I couldn't choose side characters. So jokes.
Yeah, can I just choose like? It's not Dwight. I don't want to pick Dwight.
You don't want to pick Dwight?
Who's the girl next to Dwight in this image? I don't know.
Oh, I know her name, but I've completely.
What image are you looking
So
at?
they're like the hotel attendants.
I'm on the official website. I'll send it
Yeah.
to you.
Characters.
This image.
Characters.
Okay. Yeah, who's on the left? That's a good question.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Okay, I'll get it to you. I will get you the characters. Okay. So I'll just type in Dwight, and then it'll give me a thing. Claudette.
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 Okay.
There you go. But you have still 3 other options, so it's like.
Oh yeah.
No one's picking the ocean. Oh my gosh, that's true. I should have picked the ocean. I can't kill the ocean.
Yeah, but you can fuck the ocean.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, don't you play as those characters like Dwight and what's their face?
No, you don't play as
So is
them.
that-
They are
Cool,
like
They're just side characters.
They're like the side characters. Yeah, I guess. They're not like the narrator, because there's the narrator who you could also choose. I would, you know what? I would fuck the ocean, and then I'd marry the Trickster.
You can't say that. I said I would fuck the ocean.
Oh,
I'm a character. I'm gonna
You
fuck
could have the
myself.
same thing, but then I won't have room for Spirit. Dang it. Yeah.
Look,
Fine, I'll
I'm
adopt
just
the
saying.
ocean.
I guess I'll marry the Huntress.
You're gonna marry Huntress. Huntress is they're all killers, but Huntress is the nicest one, I would say.
And then obviously I've Claudette for fudging.
Yeah, okay.
Even though I said it earlier. I'm killing the Trapper as well.
Who feeling Trapper as well? Okay. Who are you
And what you're
adopting?
adopting the
Who are
Wraith?
you adopting then?
I guess the ocean.
You're
The
gonna
ocean is
adopt the
now
ocean?
mine.
This is my child.
The ocean. Oh damn. Okay.
Hey, you could always do the narrator, even though you know nothing about the narrator. So it's an option. Not as
I
as
mean-
far as I know, not as sexy as the Monster Prompt narrator.
I think I concur with CC. Like marry Huntress, fuck the spirit.
Dude, Huntress is just
Adopt-
like, yo. She
I don't know, I
get
think
things off the
adopted
top
the
shelf.
Trapper is funny as hell. Cause he's just a fucking beef wall. And kill the Wraith because he looks like he's dirty.
He seems like he's supposed to be like a gentle giant kind of thing. Like
It
timid.
literally says that he's sinewy in his description.
I don't know what that word means.
Me either.
It means covered in goo.
Oh yeah.
Ugh. Is that what
Covered in a biscuits.
No, well, I mean, he's covered in sinew, which is like bone, tendons.
tendons? I think it's tendons.
Okay.
Yeah, because of okay, no, yeah. I heard that word before. It was a Metal Gear.
So you would
Nano
into
machines.
you would what was it? You would marry Huntress. You would fuck the
Fuck
spirit.
the spirit.
Who are you
marry Huntress.
adopting?
What's
Didn't you
his
say
name?
Trapper?
Trapper. Yeah, the Trapper.
Trapper. And then you're gonna kill the ocean. Never
Kill
have
the
any
ocean.
seas ever again.
Fight the ocean. Kill the Wraith because.
Oh,
it's
kill the
dirty.
Wraith. Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't have Claudette in that list.
I mean, I don't know much about Dead by Daylight, so I'm just looking
Yeah.
at the.
Claudette
Yeah.
and Dwight are
I mean-
normal. They're like forced to be like, what was it? Forced to be, service people at this vacation resort. They aren't
mean-
murderers, as far as I know.
Kill them both.
No,
set
they're
them
not. They're
free from
like-
customer service.
They're the people who run away usually.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
okay,
survivors.
That's what they are.
Why did none of us choose the daylight? It's called Dead by Daylight.
Kill the dead.
What can I
Kill the
say,
dead.
man?
Wait.
Just, freaking the
And-
trickster, the ocean,
And
the spirit.
and then the second last question for today, because there's one after the final question from these. What are they if they only look like socks? Are they actually gloves? Underwear? I don't know what this is a reference to anymore.
What the?
It was too long ago.
It was too long
Oh,
ago. It was a
God.
reference to something that we were talking about. I think it was a joke that Stevie made. One of you two made. I remember it coming through, and I just remember it saying, reading socks and being like, oh, that's something to do with a joke that I don't get.
Oh, wait, no, yeah, it's the
Balenciaga
Balenciagas.
socks.
They
See.
look like socks,
Oh my god.
but they're shoes.
Yes, they are.
Like,
Well, I don't know why I know this, but I do.
Are socks underwear? Are they considered underwear?
I
Yeah.
feel
What's
like
the
they're,
definition of underwear?
they're considered underwear.
they're
It's something you wear under
undergarments,
something else.
So, yeah.
A singlet can be underwear.
But a
Underwear
t-shirt could be
definition.
also underwear, could it not be? Because you can wear a t-shirt and a jumper.
Clothing worn under clothing worn under other clothes, typically next to the skin. So yes, technically speaking, socks are underwear. That's funny.
Socks, jocks, and something else that rhymes with socks.
Did you say there was another question as well?
Yeah, there's one more question.
I don't see.
Mm.
Yeah, it's for me to say to Inti.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Inti.
Mm.
Oh my god, the dogs just started barking as I said your name. That's scary. Inti.
They know.
Before we go, can we
Uh-huh.
get you to shout out anything you want? What you're working on, people you like, art, anything else, you know? Anything that you like. While I check what the dogs are barking at.
Well, it's been a while since I streamed. I've been currently working on getting back to that. So I will probably be returning to streaming this December. Fingers crossed.
Mhm.
I've been working on new layout and stuff. So I think that's the only thing I can shout out right now because there's no really big projects or anything that I'm really working on. Besides just getting my stuff ready to start streaming again. But yeah, that would be it.
Sorry
I'll
about
be
that.
seeing everybody soon again on streams. Hopefully this December if everything goes okay. Been having a little bit of issues with the new life, but I think we're doing fine.
Awesome.
Cool, thank you.
I caught none of that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I caught
okay.
it.
I'll watch it back. Just for you.
Specifically, I watched the whole thing back just for that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to your upcoming streams. You getting back into it. Maybe watching you play some Baldur's Gate. Or
Yeah.
some...
Actually, I haven't finished it. This is a plan that I have. It's not coming too soon because I think my current video card would die if I try that. But for early 2024, I am planning on making a Resident Evil marathon where I play from Resident Evil 0 to 8 all in one go.
Oh.
So
Wow.
if there's anything that I would be shutting out, I guess it would be that. But I don't have a concrete date, so it's coming. I just have to upgrade.
It's gonna
my computer.
happen. I promise.
Yeah,
It's happening.
it's happening eventually.
Okay, well, thank you guys. I guess that's the end of this episode of Graveyard Shift. As we just do a little outro so I can
Yep,
stop
you
recording.
You guys can go get a good nap, take a rest, or start chugging some energy drinks because Graveyard Shift is finished.
Since this episode is finished, don't forget that this episode is going to be on YouTube within hopefully a week's time if no problems come up. And you can find the previous episodes of the Graveyard Shift, episodes 1 to 3 that we've done so far, currently on the YouTube channel, and we will link that in the thingy. We'll link that in the description or in chat for those who are watching live right now. Which, speaking of which, if you want to watch it live, we do this on the last Friday of every month, midday for us, Australian Western Standard Time, so 12 Australian Western Standard Time.
GMT
lunchtime.
plus 8.
Yes, GMT plus 8. And you can ask questions live, or you can ask questions in the comment section of each of the episodes. Feel free to check out any shortcuts that we put on our YouTube channel or on our TikTok as well. And I hope you guys have whatever great day or not. And then I'm just gonna end the recording here.
All right,
That's okay.
bye.
Unless we have anything else we wanted to say.
Bye, everyone.
No? Okay.
Pigeons are a lie.